What's the deal? What's wrong with Flintstones vitamins? I think Flintstones vitamins are great.
Well, I mean, the only cool part about them was that they were shaped like Flintstones. Otherwise,
Flintstones vitamins are great.
You know, they're the same as all the other vitamins.
How though? Flintstones vitamins are, one in their own. Was there ever a Dino vitamin? I remember, the characters, but I don't think Dino had his vitamin because the rest of the characters are all shaped the same.
Dino is the purple one.
How though? Was he just standing on two legs? I can't remember. I don't remember.
Why couldn't he be on four legs?
I mean, it depends on how you held him, I guess. He had all four of his limbs.
They're all shaped the same.
Huh. Did anyone notice we're live?
Oh. Would you look at that?
Maybe play some theme music? Yeah.
How's it going, everybody? It is Fandom Empire Live, Tuesday night, August the 24th, 2021, just after 9, well, it's actually 9:11 p.m. Eastern time here. Long intro, says The Cactus. Yeah, it's kind of how we do things here. The live stream show, we'll play the intro for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 30 seconds, 10 minutes, until it pisses Tommy off to the point where he's throwing shit and breaking shit, and that may or may not have just happened. We'll let you decide for yourselves. We got a lot to talk about tonight. It's a big show. And the truth is, more news might drop during the show. It actually sounds like there's a good chance more news is going to drop during the show. But first up is the topics of the night. We're talking Halloween Kills, Halloween Ends. Halloween Kills, we did a video on it earlier. We're going to get the rest of the guys' opinion on it and what they think they should do. We're going to be talking Spider-Man No Way Home. The teaser is out. We watched Terrence's review of it. Now we'll get the review of 3 people that aren't on cocaine. And then we're also talking Star Wars. And then we're going to kick out Tommy B and invite in Jer, and the 4 of us will talk some wrestling. First up, Tommy B, how's it going, man? What's going on, dude?
It's going, you know. Just a little bit fumed this evening.
Uh-oh.
Government stuff, you know. They're slow. They're on my nerves. Waiting on some shit in the mail. And they're taking their damn time.
I think a tombstone pile driver on a staircase is needed for the government at times. So,
but yeah, that's the short story. That's the short version of it. We don't need to bore everyone with the long version of it. Otherwise, just it's been another day, another day in the neighborhood. Watched a couple movies today. Watched Captain Marvel, Iron Man 2. I was in the middle of Iron Man 3, but got cut off and I finished after the show.
Johnny would probably tell you to not finish watching it.
What movie? What?
Iron Man 3.
Oh, Iron Man 3.
Earth to Johnny. Yes, we're on air now.
Oof. No, I'm here. I just thought, I don't know. I heard Spider-Man. I don't know why. Either way, I guess. Yeah, no, take a pass.
No, I'm in my... I'm pretty sure...
I didn't mind Iron Man 3.
2 before, but it's been quite a few years, so I decided to go and rewatch that one. And...
I guess I can... looking back on it and the way they have sort of salvaged that whole situation, Iron Man 3 is more palatable than when it first came out because they've done, a lot of fixing up of their fuck-ups, as it were, vis-a-vis the Mandarin.
Yeah, I always thought they'd find a way to turn that around, and it almost needed to be. So, although I don't mind Iron Man 3, I think it's decent.
I really loved the idea that Iron Man had some crazy PTSD, from going off into space and being freaked out. Like, I could have been fucking lost in space forever. We could have got invaded by aliens. He was, I love that idea. And to share a little bit of personal information, at the time that movie came out, I had some problems with panic attacks. And I thought that was really cool for them to portray that in a movie, from a superhero movie, right?
Now that you bring up a personal situation like that, I want to say before we went live, we did see in the chat that Anthony Stanfield, who's been a long time supporter of this channel, is going through a hard time. So Anthony, don't think we didn't see that, man. We feel for you, dude, whatever you're going through, and hopefully you can sit back, get some informative information from this show as we discuss rumors and reports and things that are confirmed and unconfirmed, and have a good time while doing it. Hopefully we can just take a little bit of stress off your day, and that makes it worth it. Also, by the way, if you guys want to have a question and or comment read on air, feel free to send in a super chat and support the channel on that level. And just right off the bat, John wants to know, before we introduce the other two, is Terrence making an appearance tonight? Well, after his appearance last night, I didn't think it would be a good idea to have him on again tonight. He had some hot takes, I think, which is fine. But I think Terrence might have worn out his welcome, and we'll see Terrence the next time he's on. Although, just for you, John.
Hi, guys. This is Terrence, Fandom Empire. And you're watching Fandom Empire Live, which Sean didn't invite me to, so... probably going to be a piece of shit.
Mike Bish is in the house. It must be a big night. Mike Bish, what's going on, dude? The Bish is back, says Mike Stat. So yeah, Johnny, man, what's going on? Exciting night.
It's it's been a weird one. guess we'll leave it. We'll leave it at weird. No, I'm excited to talk about all this stuff tonight. That trailer got me. It got me hyped, which sounds weird because I don't look it, but this is just my face. It always looks that way.
All right. I'll give you points for that. I'll give you the points for that. Fresh off the Rick and Morty fan show and fresh from his vacation, unlike Tommy, who took 17, Kieran only took 1, and he's back. What's going on, man?
I don't know. Been a day, like I haven't really had. I have nothing to bitch about in my life. Like, my life is good, but I don't know. Today I was just not feeling it. Like, I don't know. I was like, trying to do things, trying to be positive. I exercised. I practiced my music. I got to hang out with family today. I didn't have to work. I got no reason to whine, but I'm still like, I don't know. I'm grumpy today. So
There are always reasons to whine. It's just, will anyone care?
that's really
Spoiler alert. No.
that's dark.
I was gonna say that.
All right, well, enough of me. Ask Tommy B how he's doing.
Well, I mean,
No,
we already
that's
did.
that's legit something I say all the time.
Oh, okay.
There's always something to bitch about. There's always something to complain about, whine about. It's just are other people going to care? Realistically.
Yeah, that's true. That's like that.
Also, I am not by any means advocating for, a life of complete pessimism or whatever. But at the
No,
same time, I am not one to go for toxic positivity either.
Well, I'm a very nihilistic person, so I can relate to some of that shit. I believe in nothing.
All right, so this is what's on the agenda tonight. We are talking Halloween Kills at CinemaCon. We did a video on it earlier. We did have a multiple choice thing we were going to do off the top, but that got canned when all the news started to drop, or all the rumors started to drop. We got some information about the Fright Rags pre-order. We're also going to be talking about which Halloween movie should we do as a watch along next. The options are not unlimited because I don't want to watch anything that's 1 through 5. I want to wait for the 4Ks to come in for that. We're also talking Spider-Man No Way Home. We're going to have a bit of a trailer review and discussion, what we can expect from the movie. With Thrawn, we're going to talk what direction they might be going with this character and their and just sort of the toxicity that still goes on in Star Wars fandom. Kieran and I touched on it a little bit last night. Shocking,
Don't
right?
say.
And there's a Mando season 3 rumor, which might not thrill everybody. So we're going to talk about all that, and then we're going to say goodnight to Tommy. Welcome, Jaron. We're going to go to about a half an hour of AEW/CM Punk wrestling talk. But first up, guys, Halloween CinemaCon. We did this earlier. I went on earlier. This was the big one. The huge Halloween Kills rumor. Okay. So let me paint a picture. I'm going to be real blunt. Okay. So I'm in the bathroom, taking a dump ski. Just how the day is going. And Jensen comes trotting in, just walks through the door. And it's just like, no privacy. You don't have privacy if the other parent's not there. You just don't. It's going to be, Jade's working and Jensen's just like, whatever. And then my phone goes off. And then my phone goes off again. And sure enough, what do I see? Well, taking the dump ski while trying to keep, the kid in safe distance is that Halloween Kills is changing dates. And I'm just like, wait a second. I thought we got to a point where this wasn't happening. And, so I'm scrolling through and I'm talking to one of our sources and we start going through everything. At this point, just so everybody knows, I'm off the toilet. That time has come and passed. And, I was able to let go of the conversation for a bit.
That was really the detail we were looking for.
Absolutely, man. I think it's good to be thorough. Anyways, this is where we're at. Tomorrow, there is supposed to be another Halloween Kills trailer. which just makes me kind of go, why? We don't need another trailer. Now, I don't think it's supposed to be a full trailer, even though they just released a sort of teaser today, which basically they give you a tease of the theme from the intro credits for Halloween Kills. They play it right at the end of Unkillable. So they give you that a tease, or a bit of a tease on that. And then yeah, it just sort of was dropped on us today that we might get a Halloween Kills trailer tomorrow. And when I say we might, it sounds like CinemaCon is absolutely getting the trailer, but some CinemaCon stuff is not released to the public. Yet the press will tweet every little detail about everything that they show at CinemaCon. So whether we see the trailer tomorrow or not, it remains to be seen. It might just be footage or a sizzle reel, but to my knowledge, it's going to be a new trailer. And then I was told at the end of it, it's going to read October 1st, 2021. Now, I stress this was before Venom was delayed to 2022 by about an hour. So again, this is a rumor. This is not Kieran's like frozen or maintaining the same face for way too long. It's making me feel very uncomfortable. I don't know if he's frozen or not.
No, I just checked out. You said you said I'm taking a dump, and I checked out on purpose until I was summoned again. I have heard nothing of the last 5 minutes because I was kind of scared of where that story was going.
You looked like you were taking a poop yourself. Anyways, so
if I was, I wouldn't tell the audience about it for 5 minutes.
Well, no, I think you tell the audience about other things. Anyways, Halloween Kills trailer tomorrow, whether it goes to the public or not, who knows? The rumor is the release date's going to change. The question is, will it or not? I don't know. The word I'm getting is it's more than likely to change. My gut says no. I call me stubborn, but obviously there are some selfish and personal reasons why I don't want the date to change, because the date changing could cause problems. So I hope it stays the same. We don't have anything that's confirmed, but that, needless to say, that was a bombshell that was dropped on us. Tommy, I'm going to go to you first, man. I know you were trying to make it on here earlier. Should they change release dates, and do you think it will? October 1st is the heavily rumored date that we may or may not hear about tomorrow.
No. I'm sick and tired of all these motherfucking movies changing all their motherfucking release days. Especially if Venom is fucking changing over to 2022, even though they just fucking delayed, 2 weeks ago or whatever it was. I'm sick of this shit. Like, for real. Just keep going the path. Keep going a straight path. October 15th. Let's stick with that day, and everyone will just be happy. Sure, why the fuck not? Frank Riker, let's just release it during Christmas. I one up you. Why don't we just fucking release it right now? Especially if you're going to give us a whole new fucking trailer tomorrow, right? I mean, like, why the fuck do I want to even go see this fucking movie anymore? Like, I know the whole fucking script. I've seen basically how many kills from the fucking movie. I've seen Michael go splitter, splatter, splatter. What the fuck more we want? What the fuck more?
And I thought I was
done. I'm done. I'm done with the delays. Why don't we just have the fucking movie?
Well, you see, hang on. Are we talking to Tommy or Terrence right now?
Go fuck yourself. How about that?
What is happening right now?
I was going to say that.
Does my name say Terrence? Terrence? No, it says Tommy. Tommy B.
Tommy and Terrence both start with a T. Maybe that's the thing.
The problem is it's a business, right? And business decisions come up in this, such as making money and yeah, I wanted to stay the same too, man, because basically we had everything set for us personally, and now a date change could cause issues. We don't know for sure or not. But it appears to be on the table. I know some people might be like, well, Venom moved. I'm not sure that matters to them when you look at it, like we talked about a couple weeks ago. You know, September 24th, which is not the date they're rumored to go to, and October 1st. Why wouldn't you do either of those days? Financially speaking, you get the IMAX to yourself for a week, which means you get to deliver on a promise that you made fans. We know it was already done and complete. It's not like they didn't do it. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. Johnny, how about you, man? Do you think it's going to happen? And if so, does October 1st make sense?
I mean, I guess like moving it up to the beginning of October, I guess, kind of makes sense in a weird way. You know, I guess that kind of gives theaters more of what they want, that longer window, and then you still have that.
Everybody wins.
You still have that prime, you know, Halloween release date on whatever digital platform you are. You know, whichever digital platform is throwing the most cash at you, I guess at the end of the day is what it's going to be. I mean, I don't know. I guess it doesn't really hurt them at all. If anything, it helps them. You know, pushes them out of what is a now hotly contested 3-week span.
Apologies. Yeah, we muted your ass.
Sorry, but
Usually one mutes themselves before they start fucking with the equipment. It's a courtesy thing.
yeah, I know. It's like not snoring or not paying attention during a stream. You should probably do that. All of you guys. I'm not pointing the finger at any one person, but like, you gotta always pay attention when you're doing streams and stuff like that. Try not to fall asleep.
I think he's just looking at his dick.
Or breathe really loud.
Anyways, Kieran, what do you think, man? It seems that there's some evidence behind some of the rumors here. Do you think this thing's going to move, and should it?
Oh, I think they should do whatever is best for the movie. If there's like a wide open date where no other movie is opening, fucking go for it. Like if someone comes to me, if I'm if I'm in business and someone says like, hey, we should do this. I think the company, product, whatever will make more money, based on this research, or having no competition at that time. As the head of that business, I'd be like, fucking do it. I love money.
Right.
And that's kind of how the world works. I don't, my motivations aren't always for money, but when you're a businessman, a big business, a Universal, all that shit, they do things for money. Otherwise, they, don't. I don't.
Shocking
just
that
released
money.
The movie now. Yeah, they owe it to us. That sounds like something that
Terrence would say too.
No, I was going to say something Tommy would say.
Oh,
but they seem to be the same person now. So,
Terrence,
no one owes me shit except like maybe a little bit of sanity.
I don't know if anybody can help you with that one, man.
I don't think I'm getting any of that. So what
Tommy, I think you should turn the light off for this episode. Like, just have yourself in the dark. I think you're like, you need to be dark Tommy. You need to be like, like the dark side Tommy here, and you just drop it every once in a while to drop a tidbit of dark knowledge on us. No, I think that's great. One thing I noticed that was hilarious is noticing in message boards and things like this after I got that news, people being like, they're fucking delaying it to October 1st. And I'm like, they're delaying it to October 1st? Like, so many people I saw on message boards saying, what the fuck? They're delaying it to October 1st? And I was like, so yeah, I don't know. You can't really call that a delay, I don't think.
No, that would be.
I'm cool for getting it earlier. I'm cool for getting it later. Like I said before, many, many times, when it comes to release dates and things, I just find things to do with my time. So if they told me, like, shit, it's not coming out till November 24th now. I'll be like, that sucks, man. Oh well, I got lots of things to do. I got a fucking episode of AEW every week. I got 2 episodes of AEW every week. I got all sorts of things to do with my kids. I got lots of hockey and tryouts and all sorts of crazy stuff to do. It doesn't bother me. When it comes, I just want it to be good. If it's good, that's all I want. That's all I want. That's a good one. Yeah, no, that's true. I heard that from the foremost authorities on these things.
Yeah, I agree. How? Anyways, let's look at some of the evidence here. You move the movie up and you avoid week 2 of Bond, which is still going to hurt you at the box office. It just is. And then the following week, Dune comes out. Venom is moved, but you still have Dune the following week. If you move it to October the 1st, not that it was competition, because I don't think it was, different market, but Hotel Transylvania got sold to Amazon. So that's now off that date too. And you promised your audience a year plus ago that they would get an IMAX version of this movie, a wide IMAX release, to the point where it was on IMAX's website, and now it is not. You have an opportunity, well, it won't be a full IMAX release for longer than a week, but for those 7 days, you can own the IMAX screens across North America. Not to mention, if you want to go see a movie in IMAX compared to seeing a normal movie, just in normal 2D, it costs more money. So I think there are things that are pointing towards October 1st making more sense. I think people are just reserved now. Well, that might have been a plan B if Venom kept its date. Venom didn't keep its date, and that was just announced today. Although it was rumored like a week ago, basically a few days after they changed to the 15th, it was rumored they'd move again. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But I think there's enough evidence behind it to suggest it's certainly possible. Let's talk trailer, guys. I have no interest in, like, if they did release it to the public, I really have no interest in watching this because, not because, spoilers. I obviously 3 of the 4 of us read the script. And for me, it's just like, well, why would I want to see more before the movie? I don't need to see more. I would for the channel, but I wouldn't be one of those guys going back and watching it on his phone 5 times a day. You know? Do you guys think we need to see more? Because I think they've shown enough at this point.
Do we need to see more of Halloween Kills? We need to see less of Halloween Kills than we've already seen, in my opinion. They could do another trailer that I would enjoy and not be upset about. But it would have to reveal no major kills, no other plot points. It would have to be a mix of the scenes we've already seen and maybe a little tiny tease of that flashback would be nice. I would love to see, or even just hear, like, whatever they're doing with the voice of Dr. Loomis, or whatever is going to happen with that in a flashback. If they could even just give us a little voice clip of something, or something to tease the fact that we're getting a flashback. And this is well-known flashback. We've talked about this so many fucking times. Anyways. If they could give us a little bit of that, I would be okay, because they've given us nothing. But I don't want them to spoil it at all, because that's the hidden treasure that's left. Because everything else is, like, we've gotten some of everything else. We've gotten a lot of characters being murdered, which is, a big part of horror movies is going to be, after we're going to see all these crazy videos of all the kills that happened in Halloween Kills. How many times did he kill? How many interesting ways did he kill people? Like, it's a big thing in the horror community. And the trailer has shown us so many of them. So I would like to get not so much extra stuff from this. I don't know. Anyways.
I just don't think there's a need for it. Tommy, how about you?
I really don't think there's need for a whole new one. I mean, if you want to release something, make it something, yeah, repatched material that's already been re-released. Maybe a few shots that are just different, but we've known for long they're going to be included in the movie. Something like that. Nothing groundbreaking. We don't need to know the whole film scene by scene, or rather shot by shot. Just keep it simple and be done with it. Although we'll probably end up seeing another trailer before release. That's more of a public one. So what the hell can you think, right?
Well, this is breaking. I don't know if it's public or if it will be going public or not, but they just showed a new trailer of the Batman at CinemaCon, and the general consensus from a few people I see on here, I don't think it's public yet, if they do put it public at all, but the general consensus is if you like the first one, this one's even better. So that gets me excited because I mean that first trailer, wow.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it could be better than that.
That first trailer was just so badass.
Batman and Nirvana. I don't know if there's anything cooler than that.
Oh, it's up there. It's up there. All right, let's shift gears here, guys. Halloween Fright Rags pre-order. I just want everybody to know they need to check out the information for this. The pre-order goes live September 1st, but it sounds like you're not going to be able to pre-order that entire time. I think it's like a 48 to 72 hour period that you can pre-order these new Halloween Kills shirts that they're putting out. And then after that, the pre-orders will go away and they won't come back up till October 5th. And some stuff might not come back at all, depending on how much they sell in the pre-orders. So if you want to get your hands on the Fright Rags merch, which looks like this, some of it anyway, you're going to want to be on their website September 1st, paying obscene amount of money for licensed t-shirts. So yeah, although, I mean, I may or may not have bought a shirt of a returning wrestler almost as soon as I could. So,
And by may or may not, that means sitting on their broken website until 2:00 in the morning attempting to order said shirt.
you have no proof of that. Okay, that might have happened. But yeah.
More on that later, though, eh?
Oh, for sure. Seriously though, I know a lot of people have been excited to get their hands on that merch and those shirts and the long sleeve shirts and the hoodies that they're doing. You're going to want to be on their pre-order day, guys, or else it's going to go and some of it might not come back. So I do know when Fright Rags and Gutter Garbs and places like that go to stock, they go to stock for a long time. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. Last but not least, we're going to ask the audience a question. I want to do a Halloween watch along soon. The catch is it can't be Halloween 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Those 5 are out because I don't want to watch those movies again until I have them on 4K when the 4Ks get here. Which means your options are either the producer's cut of Halloween 6, because I think you can rent that one still. I own it, but yeah. Or the theatrical cut of Halloween 6. H2O is not on the table because we did one of those pretty recently. Resurrection 2018 is not on the table. So basically you got either version of H6, Halloween Resurrection, or Rob Zombie's movies.
I will not attend a Resurrection watch through.
We were supposed to watch.
I'm letting you know that right now.
Oh, look at the chat.
Oh,
maybe parents would attend a Resurrection watch through.
Then I wouldn't attend a Resurrection watch through.
I would love to do. Okay, so hear me out here. I would love to do Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 because I think Tommy hasn't seen it yet, right? Tommy, you haven't seen that one? I know the other two have seen it.
Nope.
So every time Tommy thinks something fucking stupid happens in the movie, I take a shot.
Whoa, buddy, that's how you get alcohol poisoning.
That's
it's not safe.
It sounds like a watch along suitable for off camera.
Is that really the watch along you want to die to?
I mean, you could put it on my gravestone. How Rob Zombie's H2 killed this man. I might get sued for that.
I think if we did that and you did the watch level, I think I'd have to be in studio just so that I could make sure that the technological side still stays running when you inevitably get too drunk to count your fingers.
Yeah, I definitely would prefer you guys be in studio for it and Tommy be, well, we'd be doing it before he comes up here. So, but yeah, no, obviously, hey, if I ended up puking, that's it. We're done. I'm not going to kill myself doing this, but I think it'd be funny, you know.
Trash can in a corner, or I guess out in the hallway, so that we don't have to watch you in the studio puke, and then you get back on the set.
I don't know how many lines on that movie there are, but I'm sure 50% of them are a mistake. So
that's a very low ratio that I think should be much higher for that film.
I get to a point where it's like just so bad that every time Tommy goes to say something, I'm just like,
You'd be arguing for resurrection already. You're like, no, Tommy, that was pretty cool. Don't make me drink again.
All right, so let's hear it. Thanks for the shitty options, says Frank. Here are your options. Halloween 6 producer's cut, Halloween 6 theatrical cut, Halloween Resurrection, or the zombie movies, one or two. So you got 5 options. Comment now on the chat. We're going to leave voting open for 3 minutes. So when the live thing gets to 40 for us, we're done. Do you guys want H6 producer's cut, H6 theatrical cut, Halloween Resurrection, Rob Zombie's Halloween 1, or Rob Zombie's Halloween 2? If it's Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, I will do the drinking game.
I can say I would be fine with Zombie or either H6.
I kind of want you to see the producer's cut because you haven't seen it yet. So
yeah, see, those ones I would join along for. The other ones, you can either have Johnny or Terrence because apparently they're not allowed on the same show either. And I don't know how Tommy B feels like appearing with Terrence again because he's been on with Terrence before. I'm not sure if he enjoyed it.
I think the studio's big enough to keep me from throttling Terrence if we were both there.
Whoa! Who said Terrence is coming in studio?
Yeah, I don't know if Terrence leaves his basement.
Hang on.
I'm just stating it as a fact.
At least when he's on stream virtually, I can just click a button and he's gone. You know?
I'll tell you what, I'll do a stream with Terrence if I can control that button.
Do you like pushing buttons? Okay, so let's get the vote from you guys here first and my own vote. Kieran, what way are you going to this? Let me get some paper out here.
I would like to watch the H6 that I haven't seen. The
producer's cut.
Producer's cut? That would be my vote because I haven't seen it.
Johnny?
I honestly don't have a vote because I'll do whatever.
That's the most Canadian thing ever.
My vote is the will of the people. I yield to the will of the voters, of the fans.
Tommy?
I was reading something just now and I missed it. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh my god!
It was important. It was something important.
You weren't listening for the last 15 minutes?
What if I want to watch Rob Zombie's Halloween 2?
We were voting on what movie to watch. There's 5 options. You must have.
Well, I don't own Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, so I don't want to spend money on it. I don't own Producer's Cut, and you can't get it in physical media, so I don't want to spend money on something I'm just going to lose. So I would go with either theatrical cut of H6, which I do own.
Ooh.
Resurrection, which I do own. And I guess that's it of all my options.
What if we ship you out the copy of whichever movie?
Oh,
Hey,
feels
you
like
can
you're-
ship me a copy of the producer's cut if you have it. I'll keep it. You just
Good
won't
luck.
get it back.
I feel like your options are just limited.
Tommy,
What?
pick a fucking movie. Jeez.
Who the fuck are you talking to?
There's only one Tommy on this panel, man.
Man, well, how did I just go fuck myself? You know?
Wait, did he just? I think he did. Wow.
Tommy, you better get that out on OnlyFans. They're changing direction soon.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. Well, plans have changed. We can't use that outlet anymore.
You mean to say committing seppuku?
We are no longer welcome.
Yeah, we need a vote though.
I'll go with Resurrection.
All right, so we got.
Just because I know you don't like Busta Rhymes, so.
Oh my God! Just the idea of anyone saying, "Yeah, I'll go with Resurrection," fucking kills me.
Kieran,
Well, I already said producer's cut.
producer's cut. All right.
Yeah. I don't know if you marked it down, but that's what I said.
Give me one pick.
Sorry?
I just need Johnny to give me a pick. I know he said any of it, but just because it could be a deciding vote once I get to the fan vote.
Well, then I guess piss off Kieran Resurrection.
I'm going to Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I'm playing with fire. So we got Resurrection with another one. Let's go into the chat. Let's see what everybody's saying. We watching Thursday. Oh, I don't know if I want to do it that quick. So we got Entertainment Wizard with H6 producer's cut. DMT says Rob Zombie's first one. Of course you would. Of course. Matt says the producer's cut. Zach says Rob Zombie's Halloween 1. No, man, that's the one I really don't want to watch. Linton is producer's cut. Troy's producer's cut. What is producer's cut? Seeing a trend here. Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Halloween 1. Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Apologies. This is taking longer than I thought it would.
Dean, we already did H2O. It was me, Sean, and Mike Bish, and I realized how much I disliked that movie more than I thought when we watched it.
Yeah, but you like Rob Zombie's Halloween.
That was the second time we'd done it because Sean and I did it back when we were still on.
Oh no, I think
Facebook.
I think he means Rob Zombie's Halloween 2.
What?
No, we did H2O.
No, I'm talking about Bish. He said H2 just so we can drink.
Oh, okay.
I thought you said-
no, Dean
you were talking
Renner
about
said
Dean's vote.
H2O.
Yeah.
Oh, Dean said. I thought you said Mike Bish.
No, he said
Oh,
Mike Bish did it with you.
Dean
Why-
says I know, that's why I said it. So obviously he just loved me and Sean and Mike Bish's commentary.
Um,
I do want to do a watch along, and
yeah, I do want to do one of 3 as well, but I want to wait for the 4K to come in. I want to watch 3 and 4K. I don't want to watch the movies and then watch them again 2 weeks later. I love movies, but I try to leave my viewings of movies, with some distance between them. But the winner, which is funny because it was actually a tie between Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, Rob Zombie's Halloween 1, and Halloween Resurrection. The theatrical cut of 6, I suppose, got 2 votes if you include Tommy B's. And by a landslide, it's the producer's cut. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 for the producer's cut. So we'll do the producer's cut. Means it'll have to be an in-studio affair, and then find Tommy a link to watch it by whatever means we need to. Read into that what you will or what you won't. Anyways, let's move on, guys. Spider-Man No Way Home trailer discussion. I had a chance to talk about this last night. What? What's going on with Kieran? What's so funny?
in the private chat
Yeah.
of this window.
I wouldn't even have noticed. I knew he was in there. I could see him waiting. I know he's a bit early, but yeah, no, that's funny. Fuck. Good stuff. Spider-Man: No Way Home, the teaser, which is 3 minutes long, and it's a teaser.
This teaser looks like a bunch of shit.
Oh God. All right, let's hear it.
Like, what the fuck's the plot of the movie?
What?
Like, what am I looking at here?
I think it was pretty evident.
I think we've known for a long time what the plot of this movie is going to be.
Like, I thought there were multiple Spider-Men. Like, where are they?
You think they're going to give that away in the first teaser trailer?
Everybody knows. Fuck, it's our thumbnail for this show. Wow,
Tommy,
now we got all the speculation going on right now that Doctor Strange is actually the bad guy, the villain.
That Tommy sounds so much like Terrence tonight. It's really
ridiculous.
Me out.
You know what? No, I don't sound like Terrence. You're just not a true fan.
Are you going to complain that there was sand in the trailer next too?
Literally, all he has to do now is say, "That's not my anything," and he has fully transformed.
This is disturbing.
Oh my God.
I mean, that might be a fucking line for the movie. That's not my Spider-Man. Because from freaking different, universe, you never freaking know, right? So
I want J. Jonah Jameson to be saying that to Tom and Toby, just for the sheer fucking hilarity of that, seeing as how they were both his Spider-Man.
It might happen. That'd be pretty cool.
Is it clobbering time yet? About 20 minutes. 20 minutes. We're still 20 minutes away from that. So,
although kinda, because we're talking about a Marvel movie.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
I don't think we'll be talking about a Fantastic Four movie for a bit, but
sooner than you think, I think.
Yeah, I'm with Johnny on this one. A lot sooner than you think.
For one to come out, it's going to be 4 years at least.
Well, I just mean just to be talking about it, like because obviously, once we get casting and directors and writers, and then we'll have stuff to talk about.
I would say 3 years at the most.
Before it comes out, no, I don't think at this point
the window would be over by then.
I think based on the last 2 years, the window got pushed further back a bit to the point I think it might be 25 before we actually see it.
I they're planning on going X-Men first, and X-Men still has
we have Fantastic Four announced for this phase.
Is it?
Yeah, they announced it already.
Yeah,
it's the end of this phase.
I
guess they already announced a Fantastic Four reboot in the MCU. At the stuff last year.
I mean, I know. Well, with Marvel, it's now down to where they're like, okay, what's left? It's X-Men, it's Fantastic Four, it's there's only so many things left to open up now. But
I think really of all of the things that are out there that we'll see in the MCU first, it's Deadpool. I think he's the one that we'll see first in the MCU.
Oh yeah, I mean they're already actively writing it. I think they have a plan and I do think Hugh Jackman's going to be involved. I don't know if that means he's playing Wolverine, though. He may, in fact, just play himself.
I think that'd be the most funny.
So, I do.
Especially if Ryan just continues to act like he's Wolverine the whole movie. Like, I can just see a scene where he's, like, looking at Hugh like, where are your claws? Because they're fighting a bunch of bad guys. And he wants the claws, and he's human and just, like, throwing his hands up in the air. I think that'd be fucking hilarious.
I do think you're going to get something in the vein of that. Too much money to be made on that on all fronts. So that doesn't mean that he's going to be your Wolverine though for this series. I think he's too old for that. So although with the multiverse, who the fuck knows? Maybe he can appear for a couple of movies and then ride off into the sunset. And if he does, or if he doesn't return, then I love the way Logan ended. Johnny, thoughts on the trailer, man? Spider-Man: No Way Home. I think you were praising it before we went live. Let's hear it.
It wet the whistle. It got you excited. It showed you a lot of things.
It wet
the whistle. That's right. It wet my whistle. I'm talking like an old timey prospector. No, it was exciting.
Or a weird man whore.
Yeah.
No. No, it got me excited. It showed enough without showing other things. Like it kept certain things off screen, but still certainly kind of said, "Oh, by the way, this is definitely happening." You got to see. Obviously, you got to see Alfred Molina. You got to see Doc Ock, but you got to kind of tease a whole bunch of other people. With obviously the Goblin Bomb and Sandman, I guess.
Let's take a second and go over every one that gets teased in this, in my opinion.
It's a pumpkin bomb, Johnny.
Uh,
Goblin bomb.
Goblins teased.
It wasn't a pumpkin bomb though, so it kind of, I'm just calling it a Goblin Bomb because that's more on brand, I guess.
You heard Defoe's laugh, so you have Defoe. We've seen Molina. You see Electro's lightning. You see Sandman. So you have those four. If you freeze frame it, you see Doc Connors, which is the lizard. It's when Peter is in with Doctor Strange's thing. I didn't think you did see him, but you do. I've seen the pictures all day long. You do see him. It's very quick. So that's 5.
The question is, which one is it?
I don't know. That we don't know. It could be the one we never got to see from
should be the
universe.
Should be the Rhys Ifans one or whatever, I hope, but
he's been a little busy.
Yeah, but that one developed way more. But obviously, being able to actually be the character as opposed to just knowing that character is that character in the Tobey Maguire universe. So
you 110% see Matt Murdock in this. But he's been heavily rumored for basically since they announced the movie. Now I don't know if that means he's playing his version of I should say Matt Murdock from the Netflix series. He's 110% in this movie. I knew that long before there was any trailer. We talked about it on the channel before.
I don't know about that one. I mean, I know what people are going for, like the interrogation scene. I don't know.
You're off then.
I only say I don't think that's specifically him because his lawyer would be beside him. Like that's like an interrogation seat that guy's standing in.
Oh, I'm aware. It's trust me though, it's him.
Why is Matt Murdock interrogating him? He's his lawyer.
Is he?
With the detective. Of course he is. Matt Murdock is a defense attorney.
Maybe he interrupts the beat. Like,
I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying just based purely on context of what you see. I think that's a detective that they're trying to make you think it's a dude wearing a white shirt with a tie and has 2 arms. That's all you see.
No, you don't. You see them walking into the room, and when you see them walking through the light, the pictures are everywhere. It's clear as day. Charlie Cox. 110% Charlie Cox. And then if you watch him when he slams his hands down on the table, he literally, Peter anyways, gets like spooked and he looks up at him. It's 110% Charlie Cox. He was caught on set. Who's the actress that plays Karen Page from that series? I can't remember her name. She was in True Blood. She's in
the True Blood. Yeah.
We know she's in the movie too. She was seen on set. They've not done a very good job of keeping secrets. They keep trying to. But are you okay with the fact they didn't show much though, Johnny, considering as Kieran said, as Tommy said, all this stuff is very public knowledge already.
I'm happy they didn't show this stuff. Because there's so much that there's so many different ways they do. Like even having people on set when you're doing a melding of universe sequence, like a melding of universe movie, like this one clearly is, just because somebody's on set and appearing in the film doesn't mean they're appearing in the continuity of the film. It's just as easy to have flashbacks of the other Spider-Mans and their stories of what they were doing as they got pulled out of their universe or whatever, and have that be where you see some of these villains and not in the main MCU proper. That's so it's entirely possible to write some of these out without giving away the plot that they're the big guys. Like, yes, okay, Doc Ock, big guy, shows up in MCU New York. You see him, emerge from that pit and, talk to Peter. And my only question is, how does he know that's Peter? Unless we pan around to the other side and it's a multi-Peter. sequence, and they're doing the Peter point, which sounds horrible, but I
He's-
mean, when I
he's-
say Peter point, everybody knows what I'm talking about.
He's talking to Tobey Maguire. That was
Yeah.
the attempt at the big.
Andrew Garfield, because no, wait, you're right.
Oh,
I got my Doc Ock confused. Yeah.
Are you sure you know what you're talking about?
I am. I got my docs confused for a second because I was thinking he was. I don't know why I was thinking he was in the Andrew Garfield movies there for a minute. Yeah, maybe because I actually liked those ones more, so I associate the good stuff with that one and not the, that. But yeah,
I should stress though, and I'm sort of getting into a little bit.
oh God, Lee.
I'm
Please
sort of
don't.
getting into the. This is a little spoilery. This is what I'm pretty sure, anyways. I know about the movie, and it's that Matt.
like the 2003 Daredevil movie.
Matt Murdock is in the movie from the Netflix series, but he does not play like a massively key role or anything. He's not going to be all over the movie. We also know he's been confirmed for, not by trades, obviously, but by insiders. He's been confirmed for, I think it's She-Hulk. I think he's in She-Hulk.
That would make the most sense, seeing as how she is a lawyer.
So you're going to start to see him blend in. I just hope they keep the character as true to the Netflix series as they can. Kieran, your thoughts on the teaser trailer, man?
Well, I mean, we got to talk at length about it yesterday, so I won't take up too much time. I liked it. It didn't give away too much. We know all these things are coming. And I hate to say it, I do kind of agree with what Terrence said, where I don't really like the idea that they made Doctor Strange to look out like a fool. That's the only thing I'm going to agree on that point. But, it looks like it'll be a good movie. They didn't spoil too much, and they gave us a few of those pops. But like I said yesterday, I didn't want to see all of that stuff and all the Spider-Mans and everything. Like it, I want to have that reaction in the theater. And you said, like, should they have given away that same Chewie we're home moment in Star Wars? And I don't think we need that in the trailer. I would rather see that on screen, and Marvel loves to give that to you in the screen and have you do that big pop in the theater. How many times have you guys been in a Marvel movie where everyone's like, yes, and the whole crowd claps, and like, it's a staple of watching some of the bigger Marvel movies. And I think that, that's what's going to happen. We're going to get those people, and it's going to be not a surprise, but we're going to be more happy to see when it happens. It won't be spoiled when it happens. If we get to see Tobey and Andrew Garfield Spider-Man in the trailer, we're going to look at the background and say, oh, it's when they're on the bridge. So then whenever we're watching the movie and we see them on a bridge, we're going to be like, oh, this is the part where they come. It won't be a surprise. You won't get that genuine pop from it. So I'm happy with the trailer. Other than the fact that, for some reason it makes Doctor Strange look like he doesn't know what he's doing.
I'm actually in the camp that that's not Stephen Strange.
There's a lot of people that are saying that.
I don't necessarily like. A lot of people are jumping right to that's Mephisto.
We've only seen 5 of the Sinister Six at this point too. Although I have a feeling I know who the other one is. So
Mephisto, not Mysterio. Mephisto.
Oh, I'm saying.
Okay, you jumped to the Sinister Six, and I'm like, what? He's not.
Well, just because it's called the Sinister Six doesn't mean it's the classic Sinister Six.
It won't be Mephisto.
Never been in the Sinister Six. Like he has no ties to Spider-Man. He's a Doctor Strange villain. Wanda.
No,
he does have ties to Spider-Man. That's why he's.
But not
to
the. Oh, I don't mean he has no. I mean, it must be real in the in the Marvel universe. Everyone has ties to everybody through some form or another. But it's one of the.
There's only 5 announced at this point of the Sinister Six, and I still think it's very possible, without it being Mephisto, that the person who is playing Doctor Strange is part of that Sinister Six.
I don't think so, because there's no one I think that really has magical ties that it could be. So I think it's either Mephisto or it's a Skrull.
Are you maybe talking about someone who like is a doppelganger for hire, like as a trade?
I can't tell. Are you trying to make? I mean, I guess I should clarify here. Are you making a chameleon reference or are you making a Mysterio reference? Because it could be either one.
I was going to say, I think both of them could potentially work in that role. Although the name that I hear a lot, again, this is not confirmed, speculation, is actually Kingpin.
And they have
As a member of
Scorpion
the
already.
Sinister Six, I guess that would make sense, but not in this context of what we're talking about as Doctor Strange.
No. I'm talking just as a member of the story.
I think we'll get a Kingpin appearance of some sort in this. Since we're bringing Matt Murdock in, you kind of have to bring Kingpin in. And let's be real, Vincent D'Onofrio is phenomenal as the Kingpin. So I don't know. I think it's either Mephisto or it's a Skrull. I don't think it's actually Stephen Strange. I think they give you enough clues when you see, the fact that the Sanctum Sanctorum is literally frozen is, I think, a clue in a weird way. Like, I mean, people are jumping right to it's literally hell frozen over. So I mean, I don't know if I'd go that far, but an imposter in the Sanctum Sanctorum, I think makes a lot of sense. Plus, he goes against Wong and casts the spell. And
well, also a very famous, more recent Spider-Man storyline. More recent being in the last 20 years, is
not exactly loved by the fan base, though.
Spider-Man has made a deal with the devil before.
Yeah, that was a bad. Oh, I hate it when they do storylines like that. Like, it's like, yeah, Peter's too happy. He's married. We need to do something to change that up. Let's just have him sell his soul to the devil and sell his wife his story. Let's let the man be happy. Let him have some fun.
I can tell you that a lot of people are jumping to this one. I do know. Are jumping to Strange accidentally brings those, characters over into this universe. And that's not what happens.
I think this is sort of a triumvirate of moments that are all happening simultaneously. Everyone jumped to the point where in Loki, where you're sitting with Kang at the end, and he's like, "What happened? The moment has happened." Everybody immediately jumps. That's Wanda becoming the Scarlet Witch. What if it's also Doctor Strange casting that spell?
Man, I don't want to spoil anything. All I'll say is it's not that simple. And
of course, it's not simple. And I was just saying more of a,
there are certain things that are already in place when this movie starts. I'll say that. And leave it at that. Again, like with the Matt Murdock thing, I know you don't have to believe it or whatever, but come whenever we see this movie, because I don't think it's coming in December. I think this movie is absolutely going to get delayed. It's their big movie. Why would you want to put it out there and only get 30% of what it can normally earn? Oh, Jay Ryan with a $20 super chat. That's appreciated, man. That means a lot. Means a lot, dude. Let's keep moving the ball forward, though, here, guys. Let's talk Star Wars for 5-10 minutes here, and then we'll get Jerry in here.
And there go all the viewers.
Yeah. So we were going to do the toxic fandom stuff. Not even going to waste time on that. We're going to skip past that and go to Thrawn. Thrawn, again, I got into this conversation on IPC when I was on there last Friday, and a lot of people remember Thrawn as the big villain, right? That they view him, he's a bad guy. He's who took over for the Empire. But if you're following new Star Wars canon, Thrawn's way more complex than that. He's not just a villain. In fact, some might not call him a villain at all. Some might. Jay Ryan says in the $20 super chat, and then he's like, "No." Star Wars chat. Thrawn's very much positioned to be an anti-hero in this, and we know he's going to make his live-action debut sometime in 2022. Believed to be Ahsoka, maybe 2023. I still think Thrawn appears before that. However, it seems like things have been affected. And that's because the big rumor for the longest while was you were going to have these different TV shows on Disney Plus build up to this big event, this big, Disney Plus event where Thrawn would be your Thanos, basically, even though he doesn't really work like that. And transitioning from Thrawn to Mando, because I do believe they are connected. It sounds like Mandalorian season 3 is it. It sounds like Mando season 3 will conclude Din Djarin's story, or at least his own personal story. Doesn't mean he can't pop up in other events or these crossover things that are going to happen. What do you guys think of the idea that Mando might be done after 3 seasons? I understand ending on a strong note, but I think they're ending too quickly if they're done after 3. Tommy, what do you think?
I think that decision's a bunch of shit. You know, just because they want to do season 3, they can still milk what? Two more seasons before they ruin the character, right? 2 more seasons before we had our fill of Baby Yoda. Is that still legal? Can we still call him Baby Yoda? They gotta bring him back, gotta have him be the star of the show again. Look, in all seriousness, yeah, season 3 just feels too rushed for me. A 4th one, at minimum, would probably be great. A 5th one, yeah. I mean, the truth is, we really don't know how long all of this is going to go on for. We're kind of speculating on a few things.
All I'm worried about is, without dropping or name dropping places, the places this is coming out of are almost never wrong on this shit. And I'd be sad to see it end so quickly. Johnny, what about you? Would you be upset if Mando was done after 3?
I mean, I think it depends on if that's just the end of this chapter and sort of moving on to a new series. Like, The Mandalorian has been an individual story. It's his story. It's his, finding out. I don't want to say the truth, but learning there's another way. And seeing beyond the things he was taught. As far as what it's him learning what it means to be a Mandalorian, I think, and whether this ends with him sort of, ascending to be, the head of the Mandalorian clan as it currently exists, being that he now possesses the Darksaber and, grows into that responsibility. It would make sense for that to be the end of the Mandalorian as it currently exists, because it's telling. Oh God, Jay, you're clearly on the good stuff. But it kind of ends the story as it currently resides, because there's only so much more you can tell without weird time jumps and introducing new characters and things like that. So I mean, I'm intrigued to see where it goes and how it ends. There's obviously going to be questions depending on how they continue the story forward, because obviously, the Grogu question will always exist unless they kind of answer that formidably. Like, did Kylo kill this thing? Like, did he survive the Youngling Temple just to end up getting sliced by Anakin's grandson?
Yeah, Lucasfilm marketing already spilt the beans to the entire public that Luke and Grogu are coming back at some point. So
it was safe to bet that, though. I mean, that was the smart money right from the jump. It's just, you still kind of wonder, where Grogu's at in relation to, the new trilogy and the sequel trilogy, and are him and Rey gonna have a moment? Is he is Rey gonna go full Skywalker and go from Luke as her trainer to Grogu as her trainer? And go full Luke?
My prediction is, Thrawn, Ezra, the Mandalorian, Bo-Katan, all these characters are destined to go to the unknown regions and end up fighting this war against the Grisk that they've been setting up for years now, which includes the Chiss Ascendancy too. And I think that's their big crossover, because then it doesn't affect the main timeline. You protect your sequel movies. Because the war never happened there. Or the war happens in the unknown regions, which is almost impossible to navigate. Say what you want about the Rise of Skywalker. The one thing they make clear in that movie is that area is almost impossible to navigate. Same with the new Thrawn books. And Thrawn treason, without spoiling too much, guess what? The Grisk were a threat to the Empire, let alone the New Republic or anyone else. So I think that's the war they're going to go fight. And everybody's like, oh, well, Star Wars needs to do something new and needs to say something or do something different. It's like, here's your chance. You can do something different in the same timeline. It's basically, the Grisk is basically their new take on the Yuuzhan Vong. Not exactly the same, but it's close. And I think all that happens in the Unknown Regions. Do any of these characters ever make it back? Who knows? But it's your scapegoat for everything. And it seems like different forms of media are building up to this, whether it's, I won't say what happened, but a certain something from Legends was made canon at the end of Bad Batch season 1. And that ties into Thrawn, which ties into the Unknown Regions, and the novels are heading that way too. The comics have already hinted at that. It's like they're building up to this big event, and I'm just not sure it's going to take place where everybody thought it was going to take place.
So if season 3 was the end of Mando, are we all on the same page? We would see them end up, going to Mandalore next, and I guess wrapping up everything there, kicking the Empire out, that sort of thing.
I think it would have to, because I have a feeling, if the Mandalorians are absent in the sequel trilogy too, which kind of seems like that's the case, I think the Mandalorians are going to be a part of that too. I think you have a chance to do something special with that stuff. So, Kieran, how about you, man? Are you okay if Mando's done after 3?
I would like to see it go longer, but if we're getting constant rolling TV shows like we're being promised and kind of getting already with the Marvel universe, I think they're kind of following suit with what Marvel's doing. I think every fucking property is following suit with Marvel doing, because Marvel is the most successful thing in a long time. But I just think, as long as they have a show every 3 months, it doesn't matter if it's Kenobi and or if they have a live action show, keep going, and they can introduce elements from different shows interacting. It doesn't really matter. I like Din Djarin, but the character is not really the number one thing about that show. I love the way the show is done, written. I love the stories. The character of Din Djarin is good, and I like him, but I find it's more the ensemble of all the different cast members we get to meet in that show that I've liked a lot. Obviously, one of those characters we probably never see again that I really enjoyed, but
speaking of that, I'm glad you brought that up, because there is a rumor, I know, and it's from the same place. These guys seem to have it fucking right 9 times out of 10. That Rangers of the New Republic is not canned, and they're reworking it. And instead of Carano being a co-lead, she's obviously done and not coming back. It sounds like they're in hot pursuit of Timothy Olyphant, which I would be. Who doesn't want Cobb Vanth after his fucking episode? You give me a Timothy Olyphant series and I'm fucking there. It can only be 1 season, and I'd be so for that.
Yeah. No, yeah. I loved him. Great character. I loved IG-11. I loved most of the characters that came out of the show. There's not really too many of them that I didn't like or wouldn't want to see again. So, if they're in the background or if we see them again at some point. I know, like I've said before, I'm really pumped for Andor, probably more than anyone else in this, stream, or most of my friends as well. I'm really pumped for Andor. So as long as they keep pumping out shows, I don't care if, like I said, just like Marvel, I don't care if we get a second season of any of their shows that they've had. I've loved them. And I think I'm excited for Loki season 2, but, as long as they keep pumping out awesome content that I'm enjoying, do whatever you want with it.
So before we say goodbye to Tommy and bring on Jer for some wrestling talk for the next little bit, this is what I'll read you on the Batman. This isn't what happens in the trailer. It's Scott Menzel, who is one of the press reporters that are there. His words. They showed the new trailer for the Batman at CinemaCon, and it looks like The Dark Knight meets Joker. It looks like it's a very dark and angry film, which is totally my jam when it comes to superhero movies. I think the fans are going to go absolutely nuts when they see this trailer. So just one review I wanted to put out there of the trailer, and he's not sure if they're going to show it to the public, at least yet. They might
They
say
fucking better, or I'm going to be pissed off at you for telling me about that.
someone's reaction to it.
I'm going to blame you.
He's talking to you, Johnny.
He's not talking to me. He's talking to you.
I'm aware. All right, Tommy. Thanks for doing this tonight, man. I know it's a bit of a bummer night for you, but I know. You know, I don't know what I know. You've hated on fucking.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about all these, rumors and date changes and speculations and just a bunch of shit. It's not one of the best weeks, but oh well, right?
Would you say that that them moving the date would be a piece of shit?
Yeah, I would. I would say that'd be a piece of shit. It'd only be the 500th time it's happened, right? Right? I mean, next thing is they're just gonna sprinkle a little bit of sand on top of that. God. Anyway, everyone can find me at Instagram and Twitter at TommyB1650 and all of our wonderful Fandom Empire groups and pages. Yay.
You are muted, sir.
Yeah, you're muted.
Thanks for doing this, Tommy. It's appreciated, man. Hopefully, it's a better day for you the next time you're on, and that Johnny doesn't piss you off so much. We know it's Johnny, right?
He's all right. Johnny's all right.
Oh, he's all right? He's all right.
Good vibes your way, Tommy.
Good vibes.
Have a nice evening.
Take it easy. Anyways, we will be back in about 3 minutes' time with Jer talking some wrestling. All right, we bought that fucker enough time. Here we are. We're back. We are talking a little bit of wrestling. SummerSlam was this weekend. We'll probably touch on that briefly. Obviously, CM Punk made his comeback on Friday. We've had ratings come in. There's been a bunch of stuff that's happening, the YouTube numbers, behind the scenes stuff. Where do we think they could go with it? We're just going to sort of recap that. We want Kieran to have his take on it because he hasn't had a chance to talk about his comeback yet. And I guess Kieran's a Punk fan. But I'll start off with Jer, and then I'll go to Johnny. The ratings are in. Jer, do you want to share them with us? And do you think what they did is really good or just sort of eh?
Okay, so full disclosure, I had to scroll a little bit to find the Rampage ratings because Raw actually hit over 2 million viewers yesterday. So, kudos to them. Fair enough. But I did find some Rampage information as far as ratings and the key demographic, which is 18 to 49, I believe. So the overall rating was 1,129,000 viewers total. The 18 to 49 was 692,000, which is 0.53, which, to be fair, is higher than all but the debut episode of Dynamite way back in 2019. And in contrast to the other wrestling show that night, SmackDown on Fox did 2,102,000 viewers with 738,000 in the 18 to 49 demographic. Now, you notice how close those two last numbers are, the 18 to 49. It was a 6% drop for Rampage, which is amazing. It's like they literally just switched the channel. And
All right, you can start the show now. Wait, where
I'm
the fuck did
talking
Jared
ratings. Shut up. Rampage led SmackDown in male viewers to 35 to 49 by 11%. And SmackDown led in 18 to 49 because of a 63% lead with female viewers, 35 to 49, and 237K to Rampage's 145K. Now, the interesting part about the CM Punk thing is the opening quarter hour for Rampage was watched by 1,341,000 viewers on average and 842,000 in the demo, which is higher than the average of SmackDown's demo on Friday as well. So overall, I think even though it was a wink, wink, nudge, nudge, we didn't know he was there, I think it was a huge success because you still got the surprise element out of it, right? Like, they didn't tell you he was there, so you're going to tune in because you don't quite know. You're like 98% sure, but what if the 2%, maybe he's not there and, we watch the whole show and he doesn't show up and, they just piss off millions of fans. But, they started the show with him and he drew a fantastic rating. The Chicago market did a 1.7, I believe, for the Punk segment, which is phenomenal. It's a small sample size, but still, 1.7% of Chicago watched that opening segment of CM Punk. So overall, I think it was a huge success. And, with promotion now going into Dynamite tomorrow night, the rating might go even higher than the average. I think they're averaging around 945K right now for Dynamite the last couple of weeks. So huge momentum, and I'm looking forward to it.
Johnny, your thoughts on the ratings?
I mean, Jerry hit you with all the raw numbers, all the facts, and
the Rampage numbers.
Oh boy! Don't encourage him. Don't. Oh God! Don't do that.
That was good. That was good.
No. Don't encourage him. No, I mean, he hit you with all the numbers and all that. I don't know. I mean, it's all about carryover, right? I mean, you pulled those numbers in that first quarter hour, that first half hour, but you lost it. You didn't carry that through the night. You carried that for his segment, and that's not good enough. I don't think. Like, the numbers were up and they were good. They were great even. 1.1 something is a good number. For a Friday night at 10 p.m.
Yeah.
And that's significant. It's just a question of the carryover. Like, how many people just watched and turned it off? Obviously a lot. Because the numbers kind of show that with the that quarter hour having that number, and it didn't.
200,000 people.
Yeah. So I mean, you want to keep those people. That's the thing. They need to work on. Yes, you grabbed them. Can you keep them? I think Wednesday will be a better indicator of that because they have the announced segment. It's obviously they've announced it. They're marketing it. They're hyping it up. Not just the company, but TNT itself is hyping it up, and everybody's hyping it up. So we'll see what the numbers are Wednesday night. I think that's going to be a bit more of a barometer for moving the needle because obviously you were going to get the spike. There was I don't think that was ever in question, even just based on the we didn't actually know it was going to happen, but obviously it's going to spike, it's going to pop because Twitter's going to go off and people are going to be like, oh crap, I got to turn this on right now, and you're going to get that spike. Question is if it's a maintained thing or if it's just a spike. And I think Wednesday is going to be a better indicator of that because you have the announced thing. It's your main program. It's in prime time. It's midweek. It's not Friday night.
In fairness,
people are finally able to start doing things.
You made the point last week that by not coming out and officially announcing it, rating wise, they'd probably get hurt from it. They wouldn't do as good as that you thought they could have. I would assume that.
I think that's proven to a degree. I mean, you had 2 million plus people watching SmackDown, and that's
isn't one network and one cable though. One's in way more homes than the other.
No, Fox is not network. I don't think it's carried on basic in as many places.
I'm pretty sure SmackDown. I read SmackDown's carried in like way more homes than AEW Rampages.
I'm sure that it is because TNT is a higher tier cable, I guess. Whereas I think Fox is like base cable, which I guess at this point is probably the same thing, really. Like compared to what it used to be, you'd make the distinction network versus cable was a huge distinction because everybody had network and you'd have to upgrade the cable. So I'd say it's probably a safe bet that TNT is a higher tier cable, more in the I don't want to say HBO class, but the class just under that. So yeah, I'm sure it's available in a lot more homes. That's not a doubt, but I still think you could have pushed that number up by making the announcement ahead of time because it didn't hurt. It wouldn't have hurt anything. You probably could have pushed. I think at the very least you would have pushed 1.5 to 1.6 if you.
I was going to say
least.
you would hope that that's the number Wednesday in and around that range.
Yeah,
anyway.
I think Wednesday they're looking for something closer to 2. If I'm being honest, that's the number for SmackDown in prime time. I think you want to at least beat Raw and come close to being SmackDown, which is at this point, despite the fact the company will say otherwise, SmackDown is the A show without a doubt.
Kieran, you haven't had a chance to talk about CM Punk's debut. For some reason, I thought you weren't a CM Punk fan, and you are a CM Punk fan. So I know you were just getting back from vacation and were zonked, but I'm sure you've had more than an opportunity to watch at this point. What do you think of the comeback, man? And just pour your heart out. How was it for you?
I didn't cry. No. Honestly, it was very exciting. It was awesome. It definitely was the moment that it was supposed to be. Like CM Punk just randomly jumping into the fan base and having what looked to be like a legit smile on his face was awesome. I really loved the part of the promo where he explained, I wasn't going to be able to go back to the place that made me sick. Beyond being a jab at WWE, like it gave a really good explanation for why now, why not 5 years ago, why not 2 years ago, why not? You know, he really dipped into the fact like, hey, I wasn't in the right place at that time. Now I'm in the right place. Now I'm ready. Why weren't you helping out All Elite Wrestling when it was a joint show or when they finally first announced Dynamite? Why weren't you there then? And, beyond the fact that it probably has a lot to do with numbers and, whether he wanted to find out whether it was actually competition or whatever. And, I think he wanted to make sure it was something that could pay him his salary that he wants. But the explanation to fans is so much better that, I wasn't ready. Now I'm ready. Let's fucking get it going. He really hyped people up. Throwing the ice cream bars thing on the top was great. So I thought it was a genuine moment. It was really good. Kicked off the show. Unfortunately, I found that they could have put a better show on after that than what they did. Now, the wrestling matches were good. I didn't at all hate the wrestling matches, but I feel like they should have loaded that card up a little more so that anybody who's like, I don't fucking know anything about AEW, but I heard CM Punk was going to be there. They really should have had, they should have had a Darby Allin versus Jungle Boy, or, it doesn't line up that way, but you know what I mean? They should have had a, hey, watch this fucking match. It's going to be amazing. They could have put the fucking Lucha Bros versus the Young Bucks on there. They'd fucking impress the shit out of a lot of people, or whatever. I don't know what your flavor is, but I felt like the show was a good AEW show, but it could have been a better promotion for the show after the CM Punk thing happened. I did like the show myself, but I mean, there's a difference between selling it to me, and I already love all these characters on AEW, and selling it to someone who's like, well, I don't know what this is, but I like CM Punk, so I'll watch it. To touch on the ratings thing a little bit, since I jumped in the middle of that, though, being Friday night at 11 o'clock is fucking bad.
10.
It's a bad slot.
It's 10.
10?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was 11 for me, but
it's 11.
PSN?
It's 11 in Canada if you're watching it on cable.
Yeah.
Or
10 on the
10
app.
if you're watching
it. It was earlier on the app. Oh, yeah, that's right. Anyway.
On you, piece of shit.
Either way, it's a fucking Friday night. Friday night is drinking night, whatever night, And
also straight edge.
And also, if you're SmackDown, you're SmackDown. You got those people. The one thing that you will never, like, the reason why WWE still exists after being so bad for so long is because it's like fucking those old people who watch Coronation Street. They're like, I've been fucking watching this for 50 years and I'm not stopping now. Like, I don't care. Like, I know that you guys are laughing, but it's true. It's 100% true. I know some of these people. They're like, the product's never been better, guys. Like, I watched every WrestleMania since I was 5 and blah, blah, blah. And, I just want to see John Cena come back again. And, these people exist. So that SmackDown rating is going to slowly go down, or Raw rating is going to slowly go down. But there's so many people out there. I don't think it's a good gauge to say SmackDown did this good, but AEW did only this good, because the WWE base rating is always going to be there until those fucking people die. When those fucking people die, then it will go away. But I thought that the show did well, and I think that Dynamite is going to do really well on Wednesday. And, I was very... When AEW first came out, Jared will tell you, I watched the first AEW before it was AEW show with him, and there was a couple matches where I was like, okay, Jared, like, what the fuck was that? And he had to explain, oh, yeah, no, the guy came up with giant inflatable penises because, it's part of his character. And, but, I went from being very skeptical to right now, I really think AEW is not alternative. It is competition. I think they're doing a great job. I think everything that CM Punk did was great. And I think that, CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, all these people who are coming up are really going to push that rating up. So I have zero worries about ratings.
Did any of you guys have an opportunity to watch the press conference afterwards?
I read the stuff. I didn't.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
I
You
did.
told me that. Okay,
I
yeah.
just read
It ended
it.
up coming
I forgot
live
about
after
it.
we got off. So the thing that really got me was, so there's a couple of points here. But we'll start with the deep one. When they were asking what allured Punk to the company, he admitted, yeah, he wasn't just going to jump in head first, and he needed to be wined and dined, and not in like a I need more money way, although I'm sure that was part of it too. He brought up the passing of Brody Lee, and obviously he's used to WWE running things one way where everything gets out, and it doesn't seem, again, I'm using other people's words here, doesn't seem to be pro wrestling. It's more sports entertainment, maybe even entertainment. And yet the Brody Lee thing didn't get out, and the roster kept their mouth shut about it when Brody's wife asked them to. And I never expected that to come up in the press conference, and it did. And maybe you guys want to say a couple words on that, because that is impressive in any mainstream industry anymore at this year, for something not to leak, especially that big and people knew for a while. I think that's to be applauded. Who wants to start? Take your pick.
I think it's a really important message sent by the AEW locker room, because it goes beyond, I mean, the dirt sheets got spoilers, or the dirt sheets found out so-and-so isn't putting over so-and-so. I mean, it was a highly personal issue, and the roster was asked to keep a secret, and they did, and it did not come out. And, nobody knew a thing until, unfortunately, Brody passed away last year. And I think that showed that obviously sent a message to Punk that, okay, I'm not stepping into the same locker room that I left, because pro wrestling is pro wrestling. Certain aspects of it are never going to change. It's going to be what it is, for better or worse. And I mean that from a locker room perspective. And while WWE has its toxic environment as a locker room and, upper management and so on, I think AEW is at least trying to be humane about certain things, which WWE would not. I mean, let's take a look at what they did with Eddie Guerrero's death. They turned it into an angle for a WrestleMania program that nobody wanted to. Realistically, nobody wanted to do anything with that angle. I mean, Rey Mysterio can toe the company line and say, "Oh, I did it to respect Eddie's legacy," and whatever. No, it's
That's what the wristband is for. That's
exactly right. They did the 2 nights for the memorial, and just fucking leave it be.
Even wearing the shoulder pad, which he did wear at WrestleMania, that's enough. Honor him with
Exactly.
the entrance.
Yeah.
That's fine. Do the car thing, do the the shoulder shimmy and all that. That's fine. That's paying your respects. It doesn't have to be, I'm doing this for you. That's
exactly.
That's soap opera.
Yeah. So Punk looked at the locker room and said, "You know what? Okay, this place is a different place to work, and these are guys that I can trust, and these are guys that I want to work with." Like you said, if this locker room was 10 years ago, it's Punk returning to what he said 10 years ago. He wants to work with the young guys. He wants to work with the talent that are in the same position that he was 15 years ago, when he's working with Raven in some high school gym in New Jersey, and being able to learn from guys who have been there. Punk has been in front of 70,000 people working the Undertaker at WrestleMania.
He's also worked in front of 5 people in an Indiana gym.
Exactly, against Eddie Guerrero of all people. Go figure. But I think Punk really highlights the fact that, okay, you know what? AEW is different for the right reasons, not for the wrong reasons. You're not stepping into an 80s locker room where everyone's, pardon me, but banging rats and doing cocaine and hitting each other. And, kicking Halliburton briefcases. Sorry.
I feel sorry for anyone who doesn't know what a rat is in wrestling context.
Okay.
Thinking like, what?
Okay. They are
They're groupies.
attractive.
They're groupies. They're wrestling groupies.
Female wrestling fans, which is rare because if you've seen some, yeah. Anyway, that's a quote from a great movie called Kayfabe. If you've never seen it, it's on YouTube. Kayfabe. Check it out. Highly recommended. Hilarious movie. Anyway, but yeah, the CM Punk thing, I think it made a huge difference for him. Just seeing what he was going into. It wasn't just a typical, wrestling locker room of guys who are, blow smoke up their ass and whatever. It's a family type environment of guys who want to do better. They want to change the wrestling business. They want to offer an alternative to make the wrestling business better. And he looks at that and he's like, you know what? That's the locker room I want to be in. That's what I want to spend the next 5 years in wrestling doing, working with these people, making this business better, because I didn't get the opportunity to do that 10 years ago when they handed me the ball to be the guy. I wasn't the guy, but now he has the opportunity to be that, not only that locker room leader, but hey, he can still go. He's only 42. There's a couple champions in WWE that are older than 42 right now. So he's not this old relic just because he started in WWE in 2005. So he would have been early, late 20s maybe. So he's not an old guy, and he can still go. And yeah, he's got a couple gray hairs in his beard. So what? I think he's going to be happy, motivated, and legitimately excited to put out the best product that he can, which we haven't seen in, probably 15 years, like you said, since he left Ring of Honor. So
I think it's important to note that he's 42, but he's also a lighter guy. I think the heavier guys have a hard time when they get older, but Christian is still launching himself from inside the ring, outside the ring, landing on his knees, and then, doing the thrust punch there. Like, that's fucking hard for a person his age to do, but he's in good shape. He's not he's not one of those big sacks of meat. He's a lean, in shape guy. He could still do it. And, I think 42 in the shape that he's in, I mean, coming off an unsuccessful MMA run, but everyone knows if you're training for an MMA match, you're taking a tremendous amount of punishment just training for it. And, I definitely have an inside track on that. It's fucking torture to be training for an MMA match. It's like 6 weeks of pure fucking torture. And if he did that, and all indications are that he did do that for each of his fights, he should be in great shape.
He looks healthier than I ever seen him in the WWE.
With a smile on his face helps.
Yeah. Johnny,
it's been a while since we saw that. It's been 7 years since we saw him, but it's been like 9 years since we've seen him smile. So.
Oh, for sure. It's been a long time. Johnny, I know Jer said it pretty damn well, but any thoughts just on that playing an impact on Punk?
I mean, I think it certainly did, because like we said, Punk's the guy who cut his teeth in the gyms working in front of 5 people. His idea of a good paycheck when he first started was a hot dog and a handshake, and that was a good payday, and he's still driving 12 plus hours to get to these shows. He has a passion for this business that is right up there with some of the all-time greats, and seeing this opportunity to see that, the way he grew up, locker rooms were similar. There were always those people that you were friends with, that you rode the roads with, and the locker rooms were like families in some of those smaller companies and some of those smaller places. And you get to the big leagues and it doesn't become that anymore. Suddenly it's backbiting, it's backstabbing, it's trying to climb over the corpses of your friends in the locker room to get a better position. And that's not even remotely close to what AEW is. It's literally a family. And I mean, and Brody, the unfortunateness of that situation proved that, not just from the sense of, that the locker room kept it close. I guarantee that writers knew about it. I guarantee that I guarantee that when he passed away, when Brody did sadly pass on, that I guarantee Meltzer knew about it ahead of time, and some of the other big writers knew about it, but it wasn't used in a this is something that oh, you got to tell the people this. No, it was said in those reverent tones of we're keeping this quiet. We don't want the people to know this. This is a real person. This is it's that family type locker room where yes, there's going to be leaks and people are going to tell people things, but you keep it close, you keep it tight, you keep it closed off. So that people who do find out about it have that. If you say this, you will never hear from me again, and that's a difference from a WWE locker room where I tell you this to make myself look better, tell the world. Whereas this was more of a, you tell people, because that's the thing. These guys have relationships with these writers. I started last night for pure craps and giggles going back to the beginning of Being the Elite. I started watching those first episodes and you see that relationship early on. There's a PWG show, it was the Bola in 2015, 26, the year Marty Scurll run, whichever year that was. And you literally see one of the nights, Kenny Omega, I can't remember who it was. It might have been one of the Bucks, just standing on Adam Cole, literally standing outside the ring, talking to Dave Meltzer, just having a conversation like two normal people. These people have relationships with them, but they use it properly. They don't use it to benefit themselves, but to benefit the whole, and that makes a huge difference.
The other thing that came out is that Mr. CM Punk obviously had this plan for quite some time, and obviously he's been doing some acting, playing it off as if he didn't have it planned for quite some time. And the Chicago ice cream store, I can't remember the name of it, basically said that Punk had come to them almost 2 years ago, and they had started putting together plans for something like this. And the idea that, hey, Punk, a couple of years ago was pretty sure he was going to come back. And obviously we talked last episode about how Punk and Tony Khan talked before AEW officially launched. I think Tony Khan said something like, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, like Punk was on his short list to begin the company with.
Oh, we always do that, yeah.
Are you guys surprised that, like, even the ice cream bars and obviously this whole thing has been in the works for as long as it is? Because a lot of those insiders that you just brought up, and I know because I've been following the last couple months, or the last month since it heated up, basically we're saying this came out of nowhere and was recent, and it doesn't seem like that's the case at all.
I mean, I think it just goes to show when you got the bug back. Like it came out. I can't remember when it was. It was in, I want to say, an interview with Renee Paquette, who of course was Renee Young in the WWE. That she's the one who brought back his love for pro wrestling by bringing him on backstage. And hey, that was 2 years ago. So it makes sense that once he gets the bug, and once he realizes I might actually want to come back to this, the time is right. I can do this. I'm ready for this. It makes perfect sense for him to start making his plans for what he wants to do, because that's the kind of guy he is. So no, I'm not at all surprised that it's been 2 years. I'm not at all surprised that that's when he got the bug back. In fact, I think right around the time, I can't remember if it was in the Wrestling Chat or an actual conversation with Jared that I said this is the beginning. This is where his comeback starts. At the time, obviously, it was to the WWE because that's all there was. AEW was still in the birthing stages. It was before All In. It still hadn't happened yet. We didn't know if this was going to be a one and done, or if this was the birth of something, or what it was going to. We didn't foresee AEW becoming what it's become, but it was in the birthing stages. So at the time, I did sort of predict that this is the beginning of his comeback story. Again, like I said, at the time, I thought it was the WWE because that was the only game in town. I thought he could, his love for the business would push aside some of the past dealings, and he'd make peace with, the people that wronged him. And of course, the company doctor isn't the same guy anymore, and that, of course, makes a huge difference. So a lot of those things had changed that I thought they could make the peace, and he could come back. And then obviously AEW happened, and it's a lot of his friends from from the WWE, like him and Cody's relationship is one that doesn't really, it kind of flies under the radar. as a relationship he had, and you see that the way that company grew and the way they bonded as a family and the things that have happened and the growth of that company. Yeah, 2 years. That's when the seed was planted. So no, I'm not at all surprised.
I found it interesting also that Tony Khan brought up that he actually first started to talk to Punk in 2018. So that would have been pretty early on.
We've been pre everything.
Kieran and Jeremy, your thoughts on the idea that this didn't happen just recently and that he'd been planning this for a couple of years, because he certainly wasn't letting that out publicly.
Well, I don't have much to say on it, so I'll just quickly go. I don't think that he put the order in for the ice cream bars 2 years ago and was like, guys, put this, keep these in the fridge for 2 years. I think he had the idea and maybe phoned a place and said, like, hey, man, like,
can you do this? How much is this going to cost?
How possible is this to do? And then they made him in like, a month or something, or whatever. Yep. I just wanted to point that out. Like, I don't think he knew exactly when he was returning or anything. The one point that they did make that I wanted to bring up, though, is that Tony Khan said it wasn't much of a consideration to bring Punk back without fans.
Yeah, it sounded like Punk was a and I don't.
So I think what happened likely was when he decided, hey, I'm coming back, probably coming back with you guys. They said, you know what? Let's wait until we make sure we get fans, because we want that fucking huge pop. Go get in shape. He's on Heels, right? He's on this new TV show.
Yeah.
I got to fucking watch that show. But, and then things lined up and we said, Chicago, this date, here, fans open. Let's get those fucking ice cream bars. That's probably how it happened. I don't think 2 years ago they were like, why don't we do Chicago in August and I'll call the guys, they'll get ice cream bars. I think that it was all a mix of things, and then it was like, you know what, this date we'll be able to do Chicago, it will be people. Why don't you come out that time? I'm free. Yes, I'm not filming anything at that time. And it lined up, and we got the awesome thing we got. So I'm not surprised at it because of that. I would be surprised if someone told me that 2 years ago they knew on this date they were going to do it in Chicago. He had already phoned about the ice cream bars, and they already had everything all mapped out 2 years in advance. That would surprise me, but
I think to that, it's more something that happened in the last 4 months. Because obviously, if Brody's passing played a big part in his decision, that didn't happen until, it's been less than a year since that happened. And Brody passed away just after Christmas in 2020.
Man,
I think it was Boxing Day.
Not only did they handle that well, all the points that you guys made, but the fact that they had him in a feud with Cody while that was going, knowing that anything could happen at any time and ruin their show. You know what I mean?
Well, it was after. It was after that everything.
It was after, but he was on TV at the time.
No.
Like, not at. How long was he off TV?
He'd been off TV for. The last time he was on TV was at the beginning of the month, so he passed 3 weeks later. But it was a steady. He wasn't really sick at the beginning of the month. It started happening.
I remember people.
It was after the match. He was working out that he started feeling run down, and things got progressively. I think that's what he said was after the match was when it happened.
After the dog collar match.
After the dog collar match.
Okay.
That he started working out and started feeling weaker and weaker every day, and ended up in the hospital.
Okay. Fair enough. I remember that time people being like
they were still building him up and talking about him on TV. So I can understand why why the two were. It was still part of the TV show, I guess.
The people breaking it down was hilarious. All the people online being like, I saw in his last match he landed really weirdly on that leg, so he's out because he's got an ankle injury. And some other guy's like, no, it's fucking everybody knows he's had back injuries for years. Like, I heard it's a back injury. No one fucking knew anything. Anyway.
Well, no, because nobody said anything. He stopped showing up on TV, and that was it. He wasn't a big social media guy. His wife wasn't a big social media person at that time. Obviously, she's become huge in the community since then. But
and the follow-up and having his kid, the whole -1 thing,
Even
that
still,
that wasn't a one-day thing either, right? Like that's gone on for a long time.
it's still going on.
Yep.
It's been
still
amazing.
happening.
There is
Brody-
no reason for them to do that long. Unless they are actually sincere about what they want, because they could have done it for a day, a week, a month, and then been like, yeah, you guys were awesome, thanks, bye.
A quick funny -1 story. For those that don't know, it's Brody Lee's like 9-year-old kid who is a member of the Dark Order, and
the leader of the Dark Order.
Okay, yes, the leader of the Dark Order, and his grades he had like missed a class or something. His grades in school went down, or so he didn't do homework or something, so he wasn't allowed to go to TV that week, which is phenomenal.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's awesome. All right, so we booked Punk's debut, or at least Johnny and Jer had a chance to do it beforehand. Let's talk about what he does tomorrow night. First time announced beforehand. First Dynamite. What do you guys do with him if you're in charge, and what do you think happens with him? We'll start with Jer.
I think you start slow with him. I mean, he'll come out, do the promo, maybe get Darby and Sting in there. I don't think they'll do anything physical. I think the selling point is you got to pay money to see Punk actually get physical. And Darby being a babyface, they're not going to do anything. You know, he's not going to jump him to get heat or anything like that. So I think we'll probably we got 2 weeks till the pay-per-view. So I figure we'll get some, relatively good promo work, get Sting in on the promos too. And, just get two guys talking and selling some pay-per-views, who is really the best in the world. And, can Darby beat Punk in Chicago? So, which is a fine enough selling point for Punk's return. We don't need this big angle of him needing revenge on, MJF or whoever, The selling point is to see Punk have his first wrestling match since January of 2014, period. Everything else is just window dressing, and Darby's a good guy to do it with. So they'll probably, do a promo. I don't think they'll do like contract signing or any of that shit, but just keep it simple. I'm better than you, and I can beat you. And, like Punk said the other day, you can handle getting thrown downstairs or getting put in a body bag and slammed over the top rope, but you can't beat me in Chicago, no matter how tough you are. And, it's a good hook, and there's enough on the pay-per-view anyways that, I think they're fine with Punk being not necessarily a nothing match, but a match with generally zero stakes. Nothing's riding on who wins this match. It's literally just to see Punk work a 15-minute match with a guy who he wants to work with. This match is sole
purpose to get the Chicago crowd to chant, "You still got it," for 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly, right? And people will buy pay-per-views to see CM Punk wrestle. So, I think it'll be simple. It'll be... And because it's Punk, it's going to be a headline news story every week. He's going to be there on Dynamite. He's going to be there on Rampage. So, it's the Punk himself story is going to carry them to the pay-per-view. And then after the pay-per-view, then we can kind of have some fun with it. Then we can, okay, who can we have jump Punk, or who can we, then they can play around with it, because they won't need that one selling point. They'll have gotten that payday essentially from Punk being on the pay-per-view wrestling.
I think this is the week we start the next one, the next build, because like everything Jared just said is absolutely true. This is a meaningless match in the sense of stakes. Its sole purpose is to get Punk in the ring, to show he can still go and compete at this level. And let's be real, we're all assuming that he still can. This match will either, expose him as someone who's past his prime, or prove that he is still the best in the world. And I certainly think it's the latter. I don't see how he can't be. Now, granted, 10 years 8 years, I guess, since the last time he had a major match. It's a lot of ring rust.
Hey,
You know,
him
and
and Kane was a major match on Raw.
of course, he's had time to wipe that off with heels and going through all that preparation, and that's still ring work. So I probably bumped off the ring rust. But let's be real, working in front of a crowd is a lot different than just bumping the rust. You know, and that's a hugely different animal. We don't know how he's going to be in front of a crowd. It's assumed that he'll still be, you know, that the dust is off, then he'll go back to slipping on the old pair of shoes. But there is still that possibility that a live crowd, that may not happen. It may change some things. I don't foresee that as a possibility, but, you know, it's, of course, on the wheel of possibilities. But for me, I think this is the week you start building towards the big one. And for him, I think the big one is MJF. I think this week, I looked at the list, and Dynamite is usually pretty good about announcing segments and planning things like that out. And there's a noticeable lack of MJF on this. I think this is the week where you get that, you know, Punk's, I'm the best in the world. Darby, I'm going to prove I'm the best in the world, that I'm still the best in the world. I think this is where you get that MJF start, where he'll come out and, you know, do his MJF shtick, and they'll build their program around, I'm better than you and you know it, and Punk's just trying to, I don't want to say prove that he deserves that match, that, you know, but I think that's the way they build to that program, is that I'm better than you and you know it. I'm the best in the world, but I'm better than you and you know it. So I think that's how they're going to build to that one. And I think this is probably the right time to start it. You know, there's no MJF on the card. There's no reason, I don't think there's any reason not to do it now and start building that up as a long-term program. And you're not going to get this match until, at the very least, May. At the very least. I don't think it's not a full gear match. I think that's where you get another, you know, maybe that's like Punk and Wardlow or something, or
They're gonna
give me
start it
Punk and
now?
Why not? This is
They're gonna start
AEW.
it now, but we're not going to get the match until
They
May.
started Page Omega 2.5 years ago.
They had several matches.
That's true.
Okay, so 6 months is too long a build for you?
I hate you. Can I go to sleep yet?
Like, I don't understand. Like, this is AEW. It's one pay-per-view, and it's two pay-per-views in between. Like,
May is like 9 months away.
Okay. So? Like, I can't, your instant gratification annoys the crap out of me. This is pro wrestling. You build stuff long term. I mean, Jared and I grew up in an era where you started building next year's WrestleMania match at SummerSlam the year before.
Oh, you mean like when they only had so many shows?
Oh my God, AEW only has so many shows.
2 a week now.
WWE had 5 TV shows a week, even in the 80s.
Oh, man. I can't wait till you're wrong, just like you were wrong about CM Punk not showing up on Friday.
So because I booked something differently than Tony Khan, I'm wrong. I never said it wasn't going to happen. I said I wouldn't do it.
Anyway, Kieran, your thoughts on, or how would you book Punk? We've heard, we do have a super chat that we'll get. Oh, I hope you guys know something about that franchise, because I've seen it once and I don't know shit. Marcus, we'll get to it in a second as soon as we finish this topic. So Johnny's booking long. He's building MJF to, I don't know what pay-per-views in May, guys. Sorry.
Double or nothing.
Double or nothing. So you're building long, double or nothing to Punk. That doesn't mean they're going to be interacting every single week. You mean you're just starting their.
This is the debut. Like this is basically rebooking the debut segment in front of the large audience, and who better to put him with than MJF?
And
Johnny just wants a mulligan.
and Jeremy has it as Punk and Allen just in the ring together for the first time, which to me seems like the logical standpoint, because like I can understand if like MJF comes out at the end of it and just like bitches them both out or something. But I think don't you have to have Punk and Allen actually talk to one another first before you involve someone else?
No, Darby doesn't talk.
Sting
Like
does.
Darby's thing is Sting in '97. Like he's quiet, he's broody, and he does vignettes.
Isn't it funny that Sting talks for Darby sometimes now?
Yep.
It's weird that Sting is the guy doing the talking, but it kind of makes sense. Like, I've been, Darby Allin is a guy I've known about for, 5-6 years now because of Jer introducing me to him and, in the indie scenes. And he's never been a good promo, but he's good with, he's good doing the vignette style promo stuff. Like,
That
he's not a
stuff's
guy,
fucking awesome.
he's not a guy I want to go word for word with CM Punk because you will expose him as someone who's not good at it.
He has a
Like,
chance to
can
learn
you go
from
talk
Punk,
for
though,
talk
right?
with Sting? Sure, but it just doesn't, like, you can have him in there with Darby, and I got no issue with that. You can do everything Jared said, but the promo culminates in MJF because that's the moment. Like, it's a moment.
We definitely
Him and Darby Allin doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme. Him and Darby Allin means nothing.
Right, but
They're
you
not
get
going to be long-term enemies. They're not going to be feuding together in 6 months. They're not going to be talking about each other again. Excuse me, I think long-term. I don't think 2 weeks in advance.
Anyways, that's not what I was getting at here. I was getting at the idea, you just brought it up. Darby's not good at promos.
Mhm.
We sure as hell know the other guy is. And he's been going on, he literally was on ESPN radio and was talking about being there to help out other guys and elevate talent. What a way to learn a thing or two than to, do Punk's return with him. Even if he's not going to be on the mic a lot, you'd still think you can learn from him. Can you not? Isn't this one of the reasons why he's back?
I mean, I think that's kind of you don't have to be in the ring to learn from him. Watch the monitor. You learn from him. It's still like, yes, being in the ring with him would be good for him, but you learn just as much watching the monitor as you do standing in the ring listening to the promo. Like, from that standpoint, it doesn't matter where you are. Just watch it. Everybody else is going to be learning from it.
Alrighty, guys, we're gonna do some rapid fire here, and then we're gonna end the show. First up, you don't have to give one-word answers, but let's keep it short because there's a few of them. Becky Lynch return. Are you guys in favor of it or not in favor of how they did it? Jer?
Come again?
Tommy?
No, he would have said, "Can you repeat the question?"
Yeah. So we're doing a little bit of rapid fire. It doesn't have to be a one-word answer, but let's try to keep the answer short so we can go through a few. Becky Lynch's return. Were you for it or against it, and how it happened?
100% against it. They buried their future women's star, and it was garbage. And Becky Lynch can get fucked again.
Johnny?
we know she's been fucked at least once now. So
Yes.
Yep,
That's a thing.
mommy man.
Love that she's back. Love that she's working with Bianca. Hate that their first match was 15 seconds.
Sounds like that's what a lot of people hate. Also sounds very WWE. And I haven't even been watching. So, I could not even. Who's the other girl?
Bianca Belair.
See, if you showed me a picture of her, I would not know who she is. But I do know Becky Lynch, and I will say this, and I know most people are going to disagree with me. I never understood the appeal of her. I've only seen a few promos and a few matches, and I was just like, I don't know. She comes across as really fake to me. But again, I'm not a diehard, and I don't know, but I guess she's huge, right? Like, that's one of WWE's big draws, right? So,
well, the thing that I have noticed among my friends, I don't know about the message boards, the fans, is that she was really big on her build-up, and then when she became the man, people were like, "That's not what I asked for." Like that, I feel like a lot of people were like, when they were building her up, people were all behind her. People were like, "Oh, I fucking love Becky Lynch. She's great. Her ring work is really good. Her promos are pretty good. She gets people excited." And then once she went around calling herself Becky Two Belts and the man and all that stuff, like, I feel like a lot of the bottom fell right off. It was just like, I don't want to see this every week. This is like the same, it seemed like it got stale really quickly. So I think that she's a tremendous talent, but if they're going to just fucking have her do the same thing she did before she left, that's it's not going to last long. It's going to get shoved down our throats for a long time, and no one's going to really enjoy it.
And were you for the whole her winning it in 15 seconds, and I guess she turned heel too or something?
Mhm.
No, it's totally
Can you
dumb
really
because
turn
they
heel
just
when you do nothing?
they just made Bianca Belair the centerpiece of WrestleMania.
Mhm.
They gave her the biggest, moment on that show. That's the thing that's going to be memorable about that WrestleMania, because that WrestleMania was pretty shitty. Pretty shitty.
It
Okay.
was about 70% good.
You get, I mean, that's just WWE. You
For
get the moment.
WrestleMania, that's not good.
You get the
Anyway,
moment at WrestleMania, and then you lose at SummerSlam. That's not surprising when they lose confidence in you. I mean,
No,
that's
but
Chris
it's how they
Benoit in
did it.
2004.
that's not the worst, but 15 seconds is, they made her into a star.
I
She can
think
lose now.
I think 15 seconds is more salvageable if you book it effectively, but they're not going to follow it up properly. Like 15 seconds makes sense if it's a babyface returning to beat the heel in 15 seconds, because then you can do the I wasn't ready, I wasn't expecting you, you're not who I was supposed to be facing. I'm just give me a real chance to know you're coming and you can't beat me again, and you've got a program. A babyface can't do that.
I know you loved fucking Lesnar and Rollins. I get it.
What? That's completely besides the point. This is historical booking. I mean, they got a 10-month program of Honky Tonk Man and the Ultimate Warrior on that entire premise. You beat me in
how much of a
8
program
seconds
did they
because I
get
didn't know
out of
you were coming.
Kofi and Brock? I mean, they did the exact same thing with Kofi and Brock and never went back to it. Brock
Exactly.
shows up on SmackDown, beats Kofi, and Kofi's back to doing tag teams for 2 years.
There's a chance to salvage it, but it's not. It's reverse booking, and I don't know how you book it well. Can you? Maybe, because the two are extremely talented, and give them 20 minutes on a pay-per-view and they'll tear the house down. But, I don't know. How you get there is probably going to suck, but the inevitable match is probably going to be pretty damn good.
We'll come back to wrestling in a second. Marcus Hicks sends in a $20 super chat. Are you guys a fan of the Matrix franchise? If so, are you looking forward to Matrix 4 in December? They showed the first trailer earlier today at CinemaCon. I don't think that's public yet, by the way.
Nope.
Same with
I've been checking.
And it will be titled Matrix Resurrections. What the hell do any of us know about the Matrix? I've seen the first movie a bunch of times, and I really couldn't stand 2 or 3. I don't know if that's the norm or what, but
no, that's a pretty consensus thing.
Yeah, I once tried that whole Matrix bend down your back gimmick thing, and I had to go for an MRI. That's my extensive Matrix knowledge.
Kieran, anything to save us?
The Matrix is shit. Look, honestly, the Matrix is like something that would have worked really well if they either stopped it at one movie, or if they made it or if it was just from the beginning like an anime series or something that they could make their fucking crazy off the wall vision. But, seeing fucking 1,000 Mr. Smiths, but then, like when you looked at them, they look fucking they look terrible. Half of them don't have faces, or they look like, it was just really terrible. It was really badly done. The story was really crazy and outlandish. It's something that should have stuck to an anime or, the kind of medium where you can do all the crazy things they wanted to do. In a film, it didn't work at all. It was dumb. I hated it. I tried to give it a chance several times because I liked the first movie, and it was shit. Thank you for your $20, Marcus.
Hey, Sean, I think Terrence should watch the trailer.
The sequels were god-awful. The first movie was amazing. And I think it seems like, based on the description of this trailer, they're going to try and retcon the sequels a little.
I don't know.
Because, according to the trailer, it starts with Neo stuck in, what?
No, go ahead.
I said, according to descriptions, which I haven't seen, Neo's in the real world and doesn't know he's in the Matrix anymore. He's in a mental institution.
So
they're
I think
rebooting the first movie.
Well, yeah, I think Johnny brought up an interesting point. I mean, it's been how many years since the third one came out? Whenever that was, like 15 years, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay, so, and like you said, the general perception is the first one was great, and the second and third are dog shit. Do you think they waited 15 years and then they're like, okay, let's try and go back and fix our mistakes from these second and third movies and try and do it right for the fourth one and try and, fix where we went wrong and, reinvigorate the audience?
I would love to believe that, and then the Star Wars sequels happened.
Trinity doesn't know Neo anymore. Like they meet in the Matrix. Well, I mean, I think it's more of a retcon-y do-over where they've been plugged into the Matrix and have been forced to forget, the outside world again, and they're just kind of starting from scratch in a different way.
So I'm gonna have to. This is the gist I get from this. I'm going to have to be really high when I watch this movie.
Yeah, that sounds terrible.
If current day you was watching The Matrix for the first time, you'd probably want to be pretty high to watch it.
This is the series where the guys in the suits hold the thing and make you forget stuff, right?
No.
Oh.
That's Men in Black.
Oh.
Which I still enjoy.
Also a series with terrible sequels.
I didn't hate them. I mean, they weren't good. They were schlocky good.
Yeah, no, they weren't. I would definitely rewatch them before I rewatched The Matrix 2 and 3.
I actually rewatched them about a month ago because I wanted to watch International for the first time, which was actually a really good movie, surprisingly enough for me.
I remember when I seen the second Matrix movie, I just thought to myself, wow, the last time I was this disappointed in a sequel, I was watching Back to the Future 3.
Okay, you just need to take that opinion and go fuck yourself.
I actually agree with Johnny. Like, I don't understand the hate for that movie. Like,
I love the whole trilogy.
Like they were cowboys in that movie, and it's like, so
I love the whole trilogy, but it's 1, 3, 2 for me. Like,
really, 3 more than 2? You don't like the...
More than 2? Yes, 2's still a great movie, but I prefer 3 because it is different. The cowboys. It's not the same. It's not the same thing.
That's
two
true.
is just one told from a different perspective.
Anyway, let's go back. The Brock Lesnar thing. Seen this everywhere. Some people are saying that's
Brock Man Bun. Call it right.
Well, apparently the reason for the man bun was because it wasn't planned. Is that what where do you guys fall on this? Apparently it's planned for. Is it supposed to be Roman Reigns versus Lesnar at Mania and Rock versus Reigns at SummerSlam? Is that what's supposed to happen?
No.
Anyways, the story that I heard is Lesnar had something set for Mania and that he basically was called up it was Saturday, right?
Yeah.
Was it Saturday? Anyway, do you guys think that this was, reactionary to AEW? Or do you think it was always planned for him to be at SummerSlam? Because it does seem like a lot of those dirt sheet reporters you were talking about are listing this as it was reactionary, but I don't know.
I think it was less reactionary to Punk and more reactionary by the Fox executives who looked at their show and said, where are the fucking stars? I mean, that's why John Cena ended up on SmackDown. I mean, outside of Roman Reigns and maybe Edge, the star quality drops significantly for that show. And Fox bought SmackDown wanting more than 2 million people watching it per week. So, they're looking at the show and saying, okay, what the fuck are we paying for? Get some stars on this show. John Cena's leaving. Okay, he's gone. Get me Brock Lesnar. Get me Becky Lynch. I want stars on my show if I'm paying $205 million per year for this.
What's that? You fired the clown? What? Get me someone else.
Does Fox have this much power? Like, I know Vince is used to getting his way all the time, but does Fox have enough? Again, I don't know this inside shit. I'm asking.
They were promised, that's all.
Yeah, they had enough power to get a Hell in a Cell match on the show.
They have enough power in the sense of, we're paying you $200 million per year for this show. We expected something. You're not delivering. either deliver or give us our money back.
Pretty much, yeah. And then USA, a funny story about that Hell in a Cell match. They did the Hell in a Cell match between Ray and Roman on SmackDown a few months ago, and it was fine. And then USA Network, the channel that Raw is on, found out about it, and they're like, "Hey, motherfuckers, we want a Hell in a Cell match too the day after the pay-per-view. We don't give a shit. Give us Xavier Woods and Bobby Lashley in Hell in a Cell.
You're doing a Hell in a Cell before the pay-per-view? We want one after."
Exactly.
It's stupid. Like, I mean,
There'd be such a conflict.
When their ratings are this low, they have to, though. Like, you know, this is a company that, you know, 20 years ago was drawing ratings in the 4 to 5 million range. You know, 25 years ago, they were drawing 7 million to 9 million. You know, like, the numbers have dropped off significantly to the point where people are wondering, what the hell? Like, wrestling fans leave. They don't come back. Like, they don't. Historically, they never have.
Yeah,
you reach a peak, and then you drop.
Their dad going for milk when I was 14.
Oh man, that one stunned me.
You peaked in like 87 with the Hulkamania era. You peaked in 99 to 2000, you know, to 2001 with the Attitude Era, and that's it. There hasn't really been a peak since then. I mean, maybe Cena and Batista in like 07, 08, maybe,
Yeah, 07,
like when they went back to filling up stadiums for WrestleMania every year.
Well, I think
maybe
the Cena Batista thing is viewed as a peak only because there's been such a strong decline since.
It's not a peak so much as it's just not quite as deep a valley.
Exactly, right? It was a decent part of the decline where they were still doing good ratings and doing good pay-per-view buys. And in comparison, now it's like, oh my God, where is everyone gone? You know? But that comes back to the point I raised last week about them pushing the brand over star power. You know, you subscribe to the WWE network to watch a WWE pay-per-view. It doesn't matter who's on the fucking pay-per-view. You know, you're watching a WWE show. That's the selling point. Rather than, hey, holy shit, I'm going to spend my, you know, $15 or whatever it is to see Andre the Giant versus Hulk Hogan because that's the match I got to see.
I'm not going to see that anywhere else.
Exactly, right? And that's why UFC still can do, you know, 750,000 pay-per-view buys. I mean, it's rare now, but they can still do it for a good matchup. People pay to see matchups with characters they care about, and that's how you do business. WWE forgot that aspect, and they just wanted to sell the brand because they got scared with so many guys leaving.
It's not the brand. It's not the brand that sells the UFC pay-per-view. It's
exactly
on it.
Exactly.
I'm not paying to watch a UFC pay-per-view. I'm paying to watch a Conor McGregor fight.
Exactly. Or like, you know, Johnny Overeem or whatever, you know.
Sorry, I was getting a message, but you know,
I'm trying to figure out which two fighters you mashed up there, and who the hell is Johnny?
Johnny Hendricks.
Johnny Hendricks.
Did he ever main event?
Very shortly.
We'll end with that. Let's end with pay-per-view buys.
What's a pay-per-view buy?
How much does Punk going to AEW move their needle? Do we know what they're trending like or what their buys are even?
I am looking that up right now.
I remember when the first Double or Nothing happened, that was a huge hit for them.
I can tell you that.
Okay, I actually have the numbers.
I believe they will go up significantly. And by significantly, I don't mean doubled or anything crazy like that. I mean, it's possible. But there are, like, UFC is so much proof of that. You know, people who haven't watched an MMA show in 2 years, George St. Pierre comes back and says, like, hey, I'm going to fight, Michael Bisping. It's, whatever. So many people watched that fight that probably didn't watch UFC for the entire time that GSP was gone. That it happens. CM Punk has such a fan base that probably would have followed him to anything that he did. He did move the needle in MMA for the first match. After that first match, people might have cowered a little away and been like, oh, maybe I'll watch him when he wrestles again. But he did draw in MMA, which was the reason why they did it, because they knew he would. So there's going to be people there. Like I said before, there's going to be those WWE fans who are like, I've been trying not to pay attention to this whole AEW thing, but CM Punk was my favorite wrestler 7 years ago. So let's check it out. People will buy it for him. I'm really assuming they will, they will go up a significant amount.
Okay, so for buys, we're looking at their March. Their March Revolution pay-per-view did 125,000 buys worldwide, and they are Double or Nothing show from late May. Their last pay-per-view did 115,000 buys. So
we're looking at drastically different numbers.
You're probably looking at the Thurston estimates.
They could be. I don't know.
Yeah, I had to hunt further.
They don't actually release their numbers, because they don't have to.
Yeah. I think probably more. Like if we're looking at an average of 115 to 125, I could see Punk bumping them up to probably 175 to 200. Not like a gigantic jump, but significant enough to where it would obviously be their highest selling pay-per-view. Because I think if the TV rating is going to go up, 50, almost 50%, like it did for Rampage, the more eyes on the product that no Punk is there. And another aspect we didn't really touch on, those 2 YouTube videos from the Punk debut have a combined, last I checked, 10 million views in 4 days.
Yep.
So, I mean, there was the Google trending numbers, which had Punk at 100% and John Cena and Roman Reigns that weekend at 29%.
We should see if we should get CM Punk on this show.
Yeah,
right?
Sure.
Might get some subscribers.
Punk's a draw, baby.
Despite what other people say. So it doesn't really surprise me, to be honest. I hope that he does push them. And I hope that, I don't know if this is realistic, but let's say, so we know Punk's coming. We know Bryan Danielson, aka Daniel Bryan's coming. It sounds like Adam Cole's coming. Last I talked to Jer. And then there's the Bray Wyatt thing. Let's say all those things happen. Do they double their numbers from where they were before those signings and the Punk signing? So I'm saying, just using this number as a theoretical number, but let's say they were doing 1 million before. You bring all those guys into the fold. Are they now doing close to 2 million? If the programming's good.
It's possible, but I don't see it happening just because more guys show up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, WWE's ratings haven't changed since they left. So, I mean, I don't think they're necessarily quote unquote needle movers, but I think the product as a whole will be better. So I think it would be a slow uptick. I mean, okay, their base rating is probably around 1 million. It might fluctuate a little higher, a little lower, depending on the week, but they've got their base fans. Same as WWE has a base of 2 million right now. So it's just a matter of getting people to pay attention to the product. And I think the problem with getting recent guys is they're not going to get lapsed fans. So, I mean, yes, Adam Cole is fantastic, but essentially WWE did fuck all with him. He sat down in Florida for 4 years, performing in a fucking performance center in front of 300 people for the last 2 years of it. So, I mean, no offense to Adam Cole fans, but the way they treated him was not as a top guy. So he comes in. I mean, if you are an independent wrestling fan, absolutely, you're fucking thrilled. You've seen his Ring of Honor stuff, his PWG stuff, all of his stuff where he can be Adam Cole, the main event guy that he can be. If I'm a 15-year-old NXT fan, it's like, oh, hey, Adam Cole, he's cool, but whatever. Kyle O'Reilly just beat him.
You literally just watched him get beat by a one-armed man in an ass-kicking contest.
Exactly, right? So it's like, I don't know if any of those guys are going to be enough where one guy can do it. Punk is different because he disappeared for 7 years. So it's a huge return. As to where, I mean, Bray Wyatt's cool and all, but he's not going to get a 50% ratings bump. You know, people, you might get a couple people might be like, hey, fuck yeah, Bray Wyatt's my favorite wrestler. I love The Fiend. I'm going to go watch AEW. Not enough to make that big of a difference. I mean, if they can slowly inch up, if they can get an average of 1.5 to 1.6, that's a huge success going forward. And I think that should probably be like their next goal as far as numbers overall.
Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens. Dynamite's tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Still TNT, right? No TBS yet?
No.
Yeah.
Okay. So TNT. And yeah, we'll see what happens.
TSN2 for you Canadian fans.
No, that's an hour after, right?
Not here.
Nope.
No, Dynamite's
Dynamite-
at the right time.
Dynamite is live.
Oh,
today.
right. Yeah. See? What the fuck do I know? Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for tonight's show. If you're a Halloween fan,
So only Jared gets to comment on that?
tight on time and something's going on upstairs. So yeah.
It could be Michael Myers.
Daniel Bryan's also cool. He's going to also bring in fans. No one else. That was my point.
Fair point. I agree.
Brian just left this year though, right?
Yes, April.
Brian just main evented WrestleMania.
Bryan brings in
Also
kids.
True.
That's my point is Bryan will bring in kids.
Yeah, he's got 2 of his own.
He's
So,
going to
he's
fuck
probably
all the
bringing
women.
TV.
He's going to have sex with all the women's division.
He's going to have them yelling, yes, yes, yes.
I hate to tell you, but I think you're confusing CM Punk with Bryan Danielson.
That's also true.
If there's anyone who's going to bang the entire women's locker room, it's CM Punk. Since
I mean,
he's
that's
done it
true.
in literally every company he's been in.
Aren't they both very taken?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Punk got married after he left the company, so he's back in the company now. Who knows?
Yeah. He's got
That's
eyes for
not how
NSA.
marriage works.
Guy didn't have a locker room to troll for dates in, so I don't know. We'll see.
Oh
Oh
my
my god.
So
Look up Punk's dating history sometime. It is a very sordid affair.
You can count many WWE Women's Champions on that list.
You can count most WWE Women's Champion on that list. Divas
what is
champions.
happening right now?
And that's marriage counseling with Johnny. See you later.
When are we doing a honeymooners show?
That's my CM Punk marriage counseling, not average person marriage counseling. That's different.
Okay.
Man, wow. So Halloween ends. It's in the thumbnail.
Yeah, it ends on November 1st.
All I'm gonna say is this: we talked about there being a leak a little while ago. There's a fucking leak.
Of the movie?
Of the script for it. Movie hasn't even been shot yet. And I can tell you that the ending is legit. So yes, you can get spoiled for a fucking. I mean, they could change it obviously, but they're about to start shooting the film. So
Let's be real. A script that's out there today is not the script they're shooting.
no, but when they've had the same ending in mind for the entire time.
I was going to say the ending's probably not changing. But
yeah,
you get there,
and
probably,
sadly, someone
whom
kind
shall
of
remain nameless.
for me. So beware. So if you see Halloween Ends talk out there and you don't want a movie that comes out next year spoiled for you, it's out there now. And I've already seen it on Twitter twice today too, which is just like, wake the fuck up, Universal. Come on. Anyways, that's gonna do it for us. Jared, where can everybody find you at, man?
You can find me at the Inside Handoff Football Podcast. We record every week covering fantasy news, NFL news. We got meaningful games coming up in the next couple of weeks, so that's exciting. You can find us on Twitter at Handoff Inside and on YouTube at Johnny handles the YouTube, so I'll hand that off to him.
At the inside handoff.
He handed it to you.
Now I'm handing it to Kieran.
You can find me not on the Inside Handoff because they didn't invite me to go on the show. Fucking pieces of shit. Because I'm too good a YouTuber for them, and they know I'd show them up. Pieces of shit.
DMT. Johnny, do you have a link to your marriage counseling site, man?
No, it's by appointment only.
Oh man, you can check us out on Instagram and Twitter at Fandom Empire now. Facebook's the Fandom Empire Den group. Pages are Halloween Newsnet, Fandom Empire, and we have the Halloween Fandom group as well. You can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/Fandom Empire. Bunch of good shit happening over there, and we'll see you Thursday. And I guess next Tuesday, if nothing else happens, we'll strap ourselves in for a Halloween 6 Producers Cut watch along. So,
Yes.
could be a lot of fun. We'll see you then. Johnny is not a licensed marriage counselor. Good night, everybody.